Teach me, baby. From Vancouver, gotta lead me, baby. Swim my table with the heat seats, baby. Alright, check. So today we got a couple of what you might call this, a couple of videos to react to. The first video we're going to react to is the Stewie Knights tried to expose Abba and it backfired, and we're gonna check out the Adrian Bronner video. Then after that, I'm finna tell like a quick video game stream, you know. So without any further ado, let's get it to it.
Hi, my name is...
Oh, this is the chick. Okay, Stevie Knight tried to expose Abba and it backfired. This is the Abba's baby mama.
Hi, my name is Libby, and I was a girlfriend of Abba from Abba and Preach. We were together for 5 months and involved with each other for about 8 months total.
You always ignore when I tell you I don't want to talk to you, and then you just keep reaching out.
Because I'm pregnant and we need to figure this out. I'm pregnant and we need to figure it out.
Pregnant, whatever. I don't care. That's your problem. That's your responsibility now.
I'm going to be talking about a pregnancy in which Abba ultimately walked away from.
Like, shit, Abba. Oh my god. All this red pill man and this. You're no different from, well, I can't say you're no different from us. I'm not really red pill. But you're not different from all of us, gang.
And I'm going to be talking about the difficulties and the emotionally harmful interactions I've had with Abba.
What are you doing, baby? I don't care. I will not let you hang over that shit over my head. I want you gone. Even if it means I don't get to be in my child's life, it's a great thing because it means you're gone.
Right? She's like some good Christian girl who pretends like, oh, I'm such a petite, like whatever. This girl likes a dog collar on her neck and she likes to be walked around like a dog. And one of the reasons when we ended things that she wanted to get...
Can I wear a dog collar wherever we go? I need a collar that says belongs to Abba. Oh fuck. I should be in a collar all day sitting at the oh, this guy was
back together. She was worried that she would never meet anyone who would want to enjoy because none of her other exes would entertain putting a dog collar on her and walking around like a good old bitch.
Ooh wee! This is Rama from Commentary Brethren Abba from Abba and Preach.
God damn, I've never seen this side of Abba before. Oh wow. Oh wow.
This girl, or I should say ex-girl, and Stevie Knight is too juicy to pass up on. Normally, I don't have these type of conversations. Honestly, I feel like these things are best left to stay offline because these are real people, real lives, real personal.
Fuck, I forgot to record this shit. Yeah.
Situations that have real life consequences. But during this whole drama with Abba and his ex-girlfriend, I noticed two things. One, there was a particular person that continuously kept trying to drive a point home about how nasty and dirty Abba was.
Outside of that, I do have my personal issues, my personal vendetta with Abba. Fuck Abba, bro.
Bro, this shit is lagging, bro. This shit is fucking lagging.
Right, because even with however people perceive me in regards to, you know, my thoughts or my viewpoints or my perspectives, bruh, I ain't never been no bitch. I ain't never been no fraud. I ain't never been no liar. I practice what I preach.
This also brings up an interesting conversation about commentary channels, how they position themselves on the internet, and the potential hypocrisy and, you know, other lies that they may catch themselves in as their real life situations come to the internet forefront. So even though this is juicy real world gossip, we kind of gotta talk about it. If you're new to this and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It's gonna go a long, long way for the channel. We went from about 150,000 subscribers to 160,000 subscribers in like a month, less than a month. The channel is growing, the community is growing. I want you to be a part of it. Now, back into the video. Now, I'm sure based off of my YouTube analytics that most of you all know who Abba and Preach, but more specifically Abba from Abba and Preach are, because I would assume that you watch them, especially because one, you watch my channel, and two, many people have noted that you guys have migrated from Playback over to my channel, which Playback was very closely attributed and associated with Abba and Preach. So it should all be one big circle. But for those that don't know, this is a commentary group of guys on YouTube who give their opinion opinions and give their thoughts on a plethora of different things: marriage, divorce, red pill, relationships, cheating, finances, the streamer space, the hypocrites, and just other random things that exist on the internet. These are very opinionated people. But as I've stated plenty of times on the internet before, the people that sit in front of these cameras and give you guys content aren't always who they seem behind closed doors. This is why, to me, it was no surprise when I first heard that Abba from Abba and Preach got called out for having a woman go through a bunch of tumultuous situations in regards to her and him having a baby or not having the baby. Now, again, I don't have too much commentary about how adults go about handling their relationships as long as it's not.
I won't lie, bro. It was a little bit surprising to when the whole situation actually like came up, because like you would never expect Abba to be disabled. Because like the first time I met him, he was commenting on like the red pill space and how like the red pill men are like this, and then that's not the way to live life. Then he turns around and does what these red pill guys do, not give a fuck.
Violent, as long as it's not quote unquote emotional damage and there's somebody calling people names, all these other things like that, then I'm totally, you know, how you deal with yours is how you deal with yours type of a person. But this portion at least is needed because there's context to the later story that goes on. Abba and this young woman were not having the best relationship, and so this is when the conversation of deleting the pregnancy came into play. Even though this is something that Abba did not want, it was still a conversation that was introduced.
Terminating the pregnancy was never in the question. It was something I never wanted to do. But as time kept going in the relationship, I still felt like it was pretty rocky. I talked to Abba and I said, maybe an abortion is something we should do, even if that isn't what I wanted at all. And Abba was not happy with it. Abba was quite disappointed, and he tried to support the decision as much as he could, but you can tell that he was struggling with it a little bit. We make our first appointment for the abortion, and Abba visits me to be there for me, and we don't go through with it that day. And when he leaves, I make another appointment, and I cancel that one. And I think in total I canceled 3 abortion appointments. And
why did you do that though?
You know, maybe I should give it more time.
Now, I've never had a baby with anybody before, but I could imagine the roller coaster, the emotional one of, you know, thinking that we're gonna, you know, continue this chapter in our lives, maybe elevate to the next chapter, have a baby, you know, and then be brought back down to earth because there's conversations about not having a baby, trying to work these things out. All the while, you're probably dealing with some sort of timeline with the laws and regulations that are going on in this country. I can just see how this can be very nerve-wracking for both parties, to be quite honest with you. This is why you should probably do your due diligence about having, you know, unprotected schmecks with just any and everybody, but that's another conversation for another day. Now, pay attention to these claims that are being made by Libby. They're going to be very, very important later on in the video. Libby starts to claim that Abba becomes emotionally and verbally abusive to her.
So he starts talking to you, Rob.
Visit Abba in Montreal, and we get into our biggest fight. And this was a real turning point for me. I know it's hard to imagine Abba upset, but he does get there. And not only does he get there, he goes past the point of the threshold of where anger should stop. Abba resorts to name-calling and degrading language, and resorts to ridicule and mocking. And
Okay, let her cook.
it does teeter on the emotionally and verbal abusive side, and I hate to put a label on it like that, but that is truly what it felt like.
And in the heat of the moment, she would claim that Abba would go ahead and tell her to do what she needs to do with the baby, take care of it how she sees fit, but that he is no longer going to be involved in any of the decision making that is going to go on.
We hang up, and he tells me to get the abortion. And he tells me, I don't have anything to say, just get the abortion, and I'll wait for the abortion updates. And I said, I will consider keeping you, I will keep you updated. I will consider what you said over the phone about having the abortion. My values were to ultimately not get it. And he said, just so we're clear, if you change your mind for the 10th time, I will not be involved. And then I kind of snap back a little bit, and I'm like, then don't be. And then he blocks me. And
okay, but then like, why are you busy changing, like, no, I want to have the baby, I don't want to have the baby? Like, if you want to make up your mind, just make up your mind once. Like, bro, like, that shit's very stressful. Imagine you want to have a baby and they tell you we're not going to have a baby. Then all of a sudden, like, we're going to have a baby. Yeah, we're not having a baby. Oh, we're having a baby, yeah, we're not having like you see. So like, why would you do that? Why would you play these games?
And he blocks me for an entire day.
Now, this is where it gets interesting, and the social media persona of Abba from Abba and Preach come into play in this dynamic. Clearly, they are in some sort of emotional battle when it comes to their relationship dynamics. And it's clear that they're not on the same page. Tensions are running high, and Libby can admit that she takes a step way too far and decides that she is going to send screenshots to Myron.
Yeah, so now I'm blocked. And I'm upset. I am 9 weeks pregnant. I'm feeling emotional.
Yo. God damn, bitch. God damn. You didn't send ammunition to the ops. Like, I know for a fact, like, Madden and Albert do not get along. Like, they fucking hate each other. The fuck you wanna do? You finna send the ops ammunition? What the fuck is this?
Hormonal, all these changes. And so this is a blemish on my part, but I pretend to send a screenshot of Abba's message saying that he doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. I pretend to send it to Myron Games.
You pretend to send
I never
it?
do it, and I never did do it, but that was just to like, I was fighting back a little bit. But again, I never did it. I also messaged the Abba and Preach page. And I tell him this. I'm not going to read it, but I'll leave it up here so you guys can view and pause if you'd like. And he just...
Okay, I read fast. I'm pregnant, and despite is being in a relationship or not, you said you don't care if I keep the baby or not, and that you won't be part of it. You told me you'd never walk out on the child if I got pregnant, and you lied. I will keep the baby and raise them to myself. But because I felt anxious 5 months into the relationship, and I told you my truth. I do not care about your life. Me loving you and me also not feeling unsettled can both exist. You man, bitch, this is too long.
Hans, hey blackmailer, stop reaching out.
See, this is the hardest thing about dating as a social media personality. I myself found my fiance before I was any sort of social media famous or social media popular. But I do wonder how others would have to go about navigating this lifestyle with people knowing that you are famous, people knowing who your friends are in the space, and then more importantly, people knowing who your enemies are in the space. The equivalent of this would be if you had an op at the park or at the barber shop or at your job, and your significant other taking your personal and private conversations and presenting them to the op. But the difference and why it's magnified is because of the position that Abba from Abba and Preach has made for herself on the internet space and the type of dirt that she would be sending to him. And again, I would say perceived dirt because for any normal, insane person, they would probably see that this is some sort of emotionally distressed woman in an emotionally distressed situation, kind of giving some sort of backlash to her partner. And as a pro-man person, you know, Myron should be somebody who empathizes with this. But Myron is Abba's enemy, and that is clear.
Like, as I said, like, these two are fucking ops, boys. So this chick, she done went about her business and she sent the ops ammunition, bro. Like, she didn't set the ops ammunition, bro. This is the reason why you don't pay us talk to a bitch, gang. Like, you don't do that shit. Cause you never know what's gonna happen tomorrow, though. Tomorrow she gonna be fucking the ops, boy.
As they, throughout the years of them creating content about one another, around one another, hell, even with one another. I think it's personally dirty to use this person's enemies and his stature in the way that he positions himself on the internet as a means to get back at him. Sure, you might not be the happiest in the situation, but it seems as though so far it's not like he's done anything that has been overtly wrong to you. And I think the way that she handled this situation, even admittedly so by her, is extremely, and I do mean extremely, nasty. But to conclude this portion of the story, she goes ahead with the deletion of the baby, and she says the reason why, which is also going to paint Abba in an extremely bad light, is because he walked away.
I now have to make a decision. I have to make a decision based off what the reality is. The reality is that Abba completely left me for dead. And Abba walked out on the pregnancy, and he is now absent from this entire thing. And he doesn't want anything to do with the baby, and he doesn't want anything to do with me, and I make the hardest decision I ever had to make. And it was a very painful decision, but I end up having the abortion.
Now,
like, you were gonna have the abortion anyway. You didn't want the baby from the jump. What you mean? What's she talking about?
For dead is interesting to say the least, but it's the word choice that she used. Now, based off her own admissions in the story, there are a lot of holes in this situation, and that's why I would normally ignore it, because this is somebody who is jaded having a conversation about somebody who was the one that made them jaded. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of fogginess, and it's drama for the sake of drama. But again, there's two things that make this situation very, very interesting to me, and apparently very, very interesting to others. One, Abba is a commentator, somebody who positions himself on the quote-unquote moral high ground of social media, which we'll get into in a little bit later. But two, Abba has many a op. Not just Myron and Walter from the Fresh and Fit podcast, but also Mr. the Stevie Knight, somebody who he, for the most part, social media would agree, embarrassed just a couple months ago when it came to conversations with him and Charlie Kirk that we covered on this channel. And I'm gonna tell you something, when he got a hold of this, Stevie Knight was pissed.
That's what bothers me the most about all this shit. It bothers me more than my own disdain for Abba, is that we are here right now dealing with some more evil shit, bro. When you have numerous men out here justifying a man's attempt to condemn the fruit of his own loins because he don't fuck with the person he chose to inseminate. The utmost lack of accountability, bro.
Now, Stevie Knight, a self-proclaimed men's rights activist, would normally in a situation, you know, be on the side of Abba, especially with all the holes in the story that has been given. But because this is his op, he sees an opportunity, no pun intended, to take this to the next level. He decides to invite Libby, the woman that Abba scorned, to his platform in order to do some sort of interview. And honestly, it makes the story's already crumbling foundation look so much worse.
First off, why are you even doing this? Why come out and say all this shit now?
The reason why I'm doing this is because I did feel like I experienced something with Abba that wasn't right. Was it my job to put it out publicly? Maybe not, but I didn't feel right walking away like nothing ever happened. And honestly, I felt like I just needed to speak what my truth was about the experience I had. And that's really all that it is.
Now, Libby's accusations are extremely serious. She is framing Abba as somebody who walked away from a pregnancy, who is damaging her emotionally and verbally, and treating her in a way that crosses the line and ultimately outlines him as a hypocrite based off of the way that he portrays himself on the internet. But her version is messy as hell. You saw when she said that Abba was excited about the situation, specifically the pregnancy. You saw that there were multiple appointments and back and forths about not only the relationship in and of itself, but also the deletion of the baby. You saw when she said that she was unsure about the situation. So it's not a simple story. It's complicated, it's emotional, and to be quite honest with you, it is private. There is literally nothing gained from how she went about doing this whole situation. But because of the way that Abba has positioned himself over the past couple of years, and because of the ops that he has made, Stevie Knight took a very messy and complicated story, one in which I do think in any other situation he would totally be on the side of, and made a clean verdict. He framed Abba as evil. He framed him as a hypocrite. He framed him as proof that Abba is not who he says he is, and he caps in all his videos. Stevie didn't investigate the accusation, he adopted it, and then he ran with it. And as I watched all of this unfold, the reasoning behind it became so clear. I understood why Stevie jumped so aggressively, because of the past that him and Abba have.
But she actually has another video, bruh, that blew my fucking mind when I saw it, dog, because she's able to depict perfectly why I give Abba the energy I give him, bro, because you'll see. And it gets much worse than this, man. Let me find this fucking video. Where is it? I'm just gonna let this shit play.
And see, with Abba, his audience, they're going to continue to suck him off. It doesn't matter what people show them. It doesn't matter because they have this parasocial relationship with them. That's the reason why parasocial relationships are so dangerous, because people will throw logic completely out the window. People will refute things that they are seeing with their own eyes, and they will just dismiss it, explain it away. They can't have their idea of this person shattered because I guess they have their identity.
Shame. But I would say that it is very sad to want to have a kid and then they just sat the baby, like they just sat them. Bro, that's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it is sad that they sat at the baby, but you know, man, gotta charge it to the game.
Be tied to it. Even just the slightest glimmer of this person isn't who they say they are, they just shut down. Oh, this is not true. Well, what about this? What about that? Bruh, you see the evidence right there. Case in point, Abba and Preach.
Stevie Knight proceeds to take out a paintbrush and attempt to paint broad strokes, and I do mean broad strokes, about not just the situation at hand, but Abba's character as a person. He makes this loose connection and tie to Abba's hypocrisy, using this situation in which there was him saying that Ethan Klein didn't look at the videos in the context, tying it to a situation in which Abba did the same thing for Stevie Knight, and then trying to wrap it in this same situation where his ex-baby's mother or ex-lover is also calling him a hypocrite due to a situation where he's having a baby, not having a baby, and giving her a lot of pushback and vitriol. It's really complicated, really loose, but the way that it's going to be interpreted, or the way that it's attempted to be interpreted, is, hey, Abba's a hypocrite. This is proof that he's a hypocrite. It's also tied to this situation with a woman. I find it to be totally disgusting, to be honest with you. But from one commentator to another, I don't think that Stevie is giving Abba a fair shake in this situation, especially as somebody who positions themselves as not just a commentator, but a men's rights or pro-male commentator in the space. The reason is because he has some sort of previous beef with him.
That's why I dislike that motherfucker, bro. And then, you know, as far as this whole relationship, pregnancy, abortion scandal, of course I'm gonna cover it, bro, because I don't fuck with, bro. His actions show him as a polar opposite of how he portrays himself on camera, right? Like, at the end of the day, you know, Abba's a degenerate. You know, a raw, dick-slinging, inseminating monster, bro, out here just slinging all types of fluid around. You know what I mean? But, you know, this is the one that portrays himself as the responsible one, the accountable one, dog.
Raw, dick, slanging, inseminating monster. The way he was talking, I thought he was talking about Nick Cannon. I think that's just crazy as hell. But you see, this is where Stevie Knight goes wrong, in my opinion. I think that all commentators have some sort of biases, or they have some sort of allegiances to different things. Hell, if you look at my content, people say that I'm a Kai Cenat / AMP Glazer, all up and down every single comment section, every video. And maybe they are true, but I think that that's something that is obviously going to come into play in a lot of your videos. But the way that it's being portrayed in this situation is it is being used to slander a man in a situation that is complex, messy, and ultimately it should be private. This is the problem with the way that Stevie Knight covered this situation, is because Stevie Knight didn't bind the story and then formulate an opinion. He already had the opinion. He already believed that Abba was a liar, a hypocrite, and
he just wanted to get whatever was in his chest, like, out. He just wanted to get that shit out.
Degenerate, dick-slinging inseminator. And then he just found a story that could back it up, whether it had holes or didn't have holes, no pun intended. But the problem with this entire situation is that the due diligence that Abba does is very thorough. Libby said that in the beginning of the video. So he would have receipts to back up anything and everything that happened in their interaction. And it looks like it's not looking nice for Abba, and it looks like it's not looking right for Libby.
I thought it'd be really helpful to have a timeline, because there's just so many details being added and things being mixed up. Okay, and we'll go through each thing one by one, okay? 2025, August to January 2026. That's where Libby, Libertine, the Filipino, comes in. We meet in August. By October, we're in a relationship. We've also had conversations at this time about what would happen if she ended up pregnant. So in November, we find out she's pregnant. I tell her I want to keep the child. She tells me she wants to keep it, but she's unsure.
In a 37-minute long video, Abba comes 100% clean with the internet. He had been combating the narratives, but the narratives had continued to get muddy throughout the past week and some change. So he decided that he was just going to lay it out with all the receipts that he had solo style, not with Preach giving his commentary on the side. I'm going to be quite honest with you. It doesn't make Abba look like the cleanest guy. Abba's telling the story makes the situation look complicated, but that's where the real problem for Stevie comes into play. Nobody thought that this was going to be a clean situation. Hell, we've all been through messy breakups, and we all on a human level have that type of understanding. Somebody who has that level of hate and vitriol in their heart for you as a person isn't going to necessarily paint you in the best light. They're just trying to make it clean and trying to make you look dirty. Abba confirms that he wanted the baby. He confirms that Libby was sure of the situation, and then he also says that there were multiple appointments for the aberration, corroborating the story that Libby gave earlier. But this is where things start to turn left for not only Libby but also Stevie Knight, as he's trying to paint him to be a villain.
So this is during one of her
raw, dick-slinging, inseminating monster, bro, out here just slinging all.
He compiles this compilation of women text messages, pregnancy claims, condom claims, fertility claims, all these things that would make Abba look like he's some sort of sexual degenerate. All the while acknowledging that he really doesn't care about the woman and her claims and the relationship and stuff like that. This is more about, you know, painting Abba to be a bad guy.
And then, you know, as far as this whole relationship, pregnancy, abortion scandal, of course I'm gonna cover it, bro, because I don't fuck with, bro. His raw, dick-slinging,
because I don't fuck with, bro,
inseminating monster, bro, out here just slinging all.
feel like I just want to play that clip over and over again. I don't know. And then you have Myron from Fresh and Fit deciding to step in and give his own accounts of the story. Myron tries to put Abba in the same exact box as Abba, which is kind of strange based off of the way that, you know, Walter specifically went about doing his dirt and the claims that he makes. This is where it gets very interesting.
Mr. Accountability over here, who made a huge thing, we're talking about Fresh, when he knocked up an Asian girl. What does he do? He does the same exact thing with a chick that looks like Sneeko. You know? I find that very, very interesting.
Myron opens up the conversation to the second, what I think most important part of it is the way that commentary channels and commentators position themselves on the internet.
Bruh, all you do is talk shit about other people. You talk shit about them taking L's. You say that I have integrity. I am honest, blah, blah, blah. Let's just be honest here. Like, that whole stream he did was a damage control fest. Mr. Integrity. Mr. I hold everyone accountable. Mr. I am holier than thou. Mr. I'm on my moral high ground all the time. Mr. I'm gonna go ahead and talk shit about Fresh for getting some Asian girl pregnant. Right? Remember that? Remember that? You were doing the same shit with someone that looks like Sneeko, bruh. You basically had sex with Sneeko with a wig.
Now the entire narrative is shifted. First, it started off as painting Abba as this abusive, forceful, degenerate man. But when Abba presented receipts, everything shifted. Now it's, that whole Libby situation is messy. We can acknowledge that. But Abba is still a hypocrite. Look at all these other women. This proves who Abba really is. The goalpost is moving in rapid time. And I think,
man, they're trying to get that boy like messed up in real time, you know. And I kind of don't blame because of the way like he positioned himself, like the way he chose to present himself to people, dog. This is the why it's important to be authentic to you, dog. Like don't change who you are, because as soon as you try to be something that you're not and people catch you in a lie, dog, it's not gonna go well.
I think the reason why is because not only are the Libby accusations like weak as water, stuff that we probably shouldn't be seeing, stuff that should be behind closed doors. The only reason why people jumped at it is because they had some sort of vendetta against this guy. And hey, if my op gives me an inch, I'm gonna take a mile as well. I totally understand that. But also because of this situation in which Abba has positioned himself as a commentator. This is where I think everybody is like missing the mark. There's a difference between covering a story and trying to bury somebody. I think there's a difference between commentary and, being a prosecutor versus somebody who is on the defense of the internet's persecution. The issue isn't that Myron or Stevie or any of these other commentary channels that ran with this, took these things seriously and covered Libby. That's not it. Someone makes a serious accusation, people are going to talk about it, people are going to cover it, all these things like that. But the issue is when you already dislike somebody, you're treating all of these accusations like they are 100% proof. And part of that is because Abba and other commentators, for what it's worth, position themselves to be holier than thou. And I don't believe that to be true. Everybody and their mother has an opinion. There are just some content creators who set up cameras and record these things and, speak to them or speak on them. For the most part, they say what many people should be doing. But just like that old saying goes, do as I say, not as I do. I think that sometimes people act as if humans aren't fallible. Now, I'm not using that as an excuse for true degenerate behavior. If he was just having sex with people and abandoning these women and these children and leaving them out to die, then we would be having a total different conversation. But for somebody who had a complex relationship dynamic that ultimately soured, I don't think that this is enough of evidence to say that, everything that he represented for the past X amount of years is wrong. And the only reason why these people are jaded is because they already have had some sort of back and forth with Abba. It is funny though, because as I scroll through the videos that Stevie Knight put out, even in his comment section, you can see many of his supporters, at least I would assume are his supporters, aren't really rocking with the way that he is doing this. You see, I consume Stevie Knight as well from a content perspective.
Shout out.
And in his videos, he portrays himself to be this masculine man, this testosterone fueled guy, this guy who doesn't care about the nonsense, the feminized drama, the sissy stuff, whatever the case may be. But he right now looks very, very hurt, damaged emotionally, and his audience is calling him out for it. It's funny because in this whole situation with Abba and Libby, Stevie Knight dedicated multiple videos to prove that Abba was some sort of hypocrite, to prove that the way that he positions himself on camera is not the way that he positions himself in real life, because he's a real slinging degenerate,
a raw dick slinging inseminating monster.
But what's nasty is that Stevie Knight has basically abandoned his identity because he wants to get his get back. He wants to get his revenge. He feels as though he got embarrassed in a situation that happened many months ago that people have honestly moved past, and now he wants to get his get back, and he's gonna do that by any means necessary, even if it means misinterpreting a situation that is very complex, even if it means propping up Abba in order to then simultaneously tear him down. It's a very weird dynamic. The whole situation is ugly. The whole situation is messy. The whole situation is reckless. It's not clean at all. Ultimately, these are private life matters, and these things should have been kept off the internet. But because there was an enemy in the commentary space of the person who was being targeted, it became something that it should not have been. And people try to take a very complex situation, clean it up, streamline it, paint this guy to be a bad guy, call him a hypocrite, and the whole time expose them for their weaknesses. The power of commentary is real, and Stevie Knight weaponized it and turned it into some sort of revenge campaign. Look, I don't think that commentators should be...
Hey man, it is what it is, man. Some niggas won't fuck with you, and some niggas just not finna fuck with you. Just the way this shit is, boy. On my phone, they gotta reach me, baby. From Vancouver, you a deep sea, baby. Let's tap into the next video. I need to get another screen.
What's poppin', y'all? Looks like the greatest.
The video we're gonna be reacting to is Adrien Broner robs his guardian angel.
This duo on the internet is already over, unfortunately, because Dean the Great and Adrien Broner would get into such a heated argument over one thing that you don't play about a man.
You got a damn block? None of them yours. You got a damn block. The long block on mine. The one you've been using. All right, take that bit with you then. Come on, tripping. Got me fucked up,
put it in there. It's connected to a white charger, piece.
I promise you.
Put it in the bag, bro.
Bro, I'm gonna say this, dog. Like Adrien Broner is a scummy ass nigga, bro. He's not somebody you can consider a friend, dog. Like not at all, bro. And I know a couple niggas like him. I know a whole lot of niggas like him, bro.
You're tripping, bro.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why you didn't see me with a lot of guys, cause a lot of niggas are just scummy like that. A lot of niggas are finna out you. You wanna put somebody onto a play, the next thing they trying to make the whole play without you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I know niggas like him, bro, and I'm just fuck that.
Can't wait. You can't say I'm drunk or nothing. Give a no, we're not drunk. You're drunk. Don't give a nigga. You're drunk.
But you drunk.
Get out.
Boy.
I don't give a fuck about getting out. I don't give a fuck. You want to pull me over? Yeah. So whole nigga, do your shit. Ungrateful. Yeah. Do your shit. It's good. All right, for sure. No, cause that's what it is, though. Yeah, all right. Because I don't want to do what you want. That's what it is. I don't give a fuck about doing what you want. You don't gotta do what the fuck I want to do. And I don't. And I'm not. I don't then.
Bro, like this guy is making it seem as if now this guy is in his feelings because he wants to be the leader. But in actual reality, this guy right here, he made a play. These two people are basically a team. So what happened is they got called to pull up to a show, and this guy only gave them his details so that when they pay, they only get to pay him straight up. So they had a place whereby they had to go to together. This guy and this guy, they go together everywhere. They get the money together. Then they split the money in half, right? So now this guy decided, nah, this money I'm getting is not enough. And he decided to fucking stab this nigga in the back. He decided to stab this guy in the back and take all of the money and not even tell him anything until the promoter called him. He's like, yo, bro, I gave the guy the back end, bro.
Weirdo. Man, stop calling me, bro. And I'm not. Bro, what's up, bro? What's up? I had some AB the back end. Nah, he ain't sent me though.
I'll send him the back end, bro. I got to send you. You want me to send you a receipt?
All right, so you sent cut it back in and he sent me. All right, bet.
I sent him the back end.
All right, that's so what it is. All right, that's a friendship too then. Get out. No, it's good. It's good. You sent cut his shit. It's good. Go ahead.
Okay.
He good.
I'm gonna see you on the screen. You want me to see the screen?
Yeah. You go ahead and do that. It's good.
All right, I got you right now.
All right.
You see just how, do you see how much of a snake this guy is? This guy was actually put on by Dean the Great. I mean, he already was like a celebrity, but he didn't fuck that shit up. Cause he can stay away from the Lakers, so he didn't really fuck that shit up. Bro, like, when it comes to these type of situations, dog, like, I just get fucking pissed off, dog. Cause this type of shit been happening to me, bro. Like, this is the reason why I don't fuck with a lot of niggas, boy. Cause of behavior like this. Now, this guy had to find out through the promoter that this guy is actually sneaking him some money. And now this guy is pissed off and telling him to buy. Cause why?
Go ahead, bro.
My man.
Yeah.
Shout out, check, show like, subscribe.
Bet. Okay. Could have made M's. Stupid.
Could have made M's, boy.
It's good though.
I'm gonna do that regardless.
Bet.
Do that regardless.
Yeah, do that then.
Watch.
So this initial clip that was going around, it was about some paper that Adrian Broner was supposed to pay Dean the Great. Keep in mind, these guys, how this argument started was Adrian Broner wanted to get dropped off on the side of the road. Yeah, these guys are on the highway. Adrian Broner is drunk out of his mind. Dean the Great's a little bit tipsy. To be honest, Dean the Great's handling his drink well compared to before he got linked up with Adrian Broner. So these guys are always arguing at the end of the night. And he wants to get let out. He's like, man, come on, let me out, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what happens after that is when the money situation comes, he's like, wait, hold on. So Dean the Great was going to let him out. But then when he found out that Adrian Broner allegedly stole from him, that's when he kicked him out. And a lot of people felt like, damn, man, like, why'd you have to kick the guy out? You know, is this a troll? I don't think it's a troll. Because Dean the Great would give a longer explanation of the situation, which people aren't really posting that clip. I don't know why. And this just tells you all that you need to know. And you don't play a man about his paper.
Nah. He said, don't let it ruin a friendship. This little bread. Exactly. If you're going to let it ruin, over a couple of G's, and you'll ruin it over some M's or some six figures. We ain't doing that. It don't matter if it was $10, bro.
And people like, oh fuck, put that shit in your mouth, gang. Fuck, boy, I don't fuck with the chappies, boy, at all. Here's the thing, right? If you're going to snake me out of hundreds, you're gonna snake me over thousands. If you're gonna snake me over thousands, you're finna snake me over hundreds of thousands. And if you're finna snake me over hundreds of thousands, you're finna snake me out of the millions, boy, because you don't give a fuck. You're finna snake me out of the millions, so I don't blame this guy for cutting him out, dog. Like, you cut the head of a snake right at the head, dog. You don't cut it at the tip first. You cut that bitch right at the head.
And even if it was for clips, text me on the side like, oh, bro, I was just playing, bro. Alright. That's why he stayed longer, so he could get his little bread, get his set to him. You know what I'm saying? Snakes, bro. You dig?
Snake ass niggas, boy.
If you get offered to do some, they reached out to us and said, yo, I want y'all to come for an hour. We was gonna get paid some racks to come for an hour. Cool. We was gonna split it in the middle. We got our deposit before we got there, and then we gonna get paid upon arrival or after. They said we gonna get y'all after. All right, cool. We get there after, and then y'all seen what happened. The rest of what happened. He got paid. I ain't get. Which typically you're supposed to get paid. They supposed to pay. They pay me and him. So that's what he did behind my back. He went to go tell cuz, yo, pay me, and then pay me the rest. Nah, we ain't doing that.
So what it looks like happened, and that's the call that they got in the car, because he was like, yo, stop texting my phone. Somebody kept calling Dean the Great while he was with Adrian Broner. So he was getting irritated, but eventually he picks up the call, and then that's when he kicked out Adrian Broner. So here, Dean the Great explains they were getting paid basically for like a hosting. They get booked to go to a place. They do a walkthrough. It's kind of like what a lot of poppin' rappers will do when they're first blowing up. And in this, what typically happens is they pay you the front end, and then you get there, you show up, you do your thing, then they pay you the back end. So what Adrian Broner did is he was like, yo, just toss me the money. And he just steals from Dean the Great. Now, this is a problem because a lot of people are saying like, yo, fix the situation. And the crazy thing is, earlier in the day, these guys were training. They were training with Adrian Broner's old trainer. Adrian was looking good. And they have this cycle. This is why I think this is the best. These guys have had the best streams on the internet right now because you get a full journey the entire time. It's not just straight entertainment. Like you get some self-development in there. You get some comedy in there. You get some actual anger and frustration out of the two. You get mini crash outs. So you're getting taken on this emotional.
Yeah, but dog, like these snake ass niggas, dog, they will fuck up a relationship that is worth more money in the future for the little bit of money they can get right now, dog. Bro.
Roller coaster. Not emotional because obviously you're probably not invested if you're just, all right, you might be invested. I don't know. I'm not invested, but I'm still like going through the motions of like, yo, hold on. Is Adrian Broner going to get it together? Okay, they're training. There's like some positivity going on. And then, okay, they get to the drink. Okay, is Adrian Broner going to slime out Dean the Great for a chick? Okay, well, Adrian Broner gets too drunk. Okay, so the guy's drinking every night. And then you're in this perpetual cycle of like, yo, will he ever get it together or not? If they were just doing the drinking and the partying and the chicks, I don't think it would succeed as much, especially stream-wise, because their stream has grown. Not just their clips. If they were just doing the partying stuff, the clips would go crazy, but the stream wouldn't grow. Dean's stream is growing. Is there some botting involved? I think he might be getting botted, but he's not botting himself. I know that for a fact, because when Dean the Great was streaming, like when he was like getting hit by slapped by Larry Wheels and the other guy Tiki like elbowed him, and then Dean the Great linked up with Adam 22. Dean was averaging like maybe like less than 250 viewers. So at that time when he was so viral, it would have made sense for him to bot, but he didn't bot. So now the situation is he going to link back up with Adrian Broner? And I don't know. I guess it's tempting for him to do that because the audience wants that. But this is just grimy behavior. And this just goes to show the character flaw of Adrian Broner. It's not that he's just a drunk, because Dean the Great, he's a solid dude. From what I've seen, from what other people have said, despite him he'll get drunk, he'll act out, he'll misbehave, but to take money out from somebody that's helping you, getting you motion again. Because some people will say like, yo, Adrian Broner's the talent. He carries. Well, Adrian Broner's already famous and was a world champion boxer. But Adrian Broner's been crashing out and been on this type of timing for the past 8 years. So he's been like this. And he hasn't had motion like this. So it's clear that them two together, led by Dean's direction, is what brought him the success that he's having right now to where he's getting booked. Nobody would have been even calling to book Adrian Broner before this. Not to a fight, and definitely not to host anything. They brought Adrian Broner to host something. They would probably pay him to stay out of the club if you tried to book Adrian Broner 3-4 weeks ago. And then Dean the Great, after a lot of people were giving him criticism, and he would go on to explain why it's extra slimy what Adrian Broner did to him.
And if we want to talk numbers, I done made this nigga $20,000 a week. His first week streaming. You don't make $20,000 on Kick streaming your first fucking week. Get out of here. All right, that's just off KCIP. That ain't including everything else. That's just off streaming. The hours you stream, okay? It's good though. On top of that, I ain't taking a dime from bro. Turn it down, bro. I ain't taking a dime from them. I ain't asking no percentage. I ain't taking it. And in plays, I'm involving in this shit. We breaking half on everything, bro. So do the math, bro. We had 3 plays today. We got multiple plays since we've been here. Everything, the Airbnb, the car, the security, the cameraman, everything paid for by me.
ungrateful motherfuckers, dog. Everything can be paid for by you, but they still be ungrateful, dog. Like, I know these type of people, dog. Like, I know them, bro. So you just need to be careful with the type of people you have around me, whether that is an interpersonal relationship, friendships, relationships, or whether that be just be business, dog. You should be very careful with the people who are around you, dog. But good thing for him, like, whatever amount that was, I don't think it's more than what he still can potentially earn by just cutting this nigga off. Because there's more of this shit still to come. This is just the opener, bro.
I'm not telling bro to break even because he's making bread now. That's me, bro. My expenses, bro.
Nah, this is crazy. This is straight up disrespectful. It's damn near, I wouldn't say it's a Boosie Vlad situation where you're hearing like, yo, this guy's getting paid $25K a week or like $25K an interview. That's like a couple of hours. But just hearing what situation has happened. Think about it yourself. Would you take getting paid $20K in your first week streaming just off of the stream revenue, which you're not even paying the cameraman, there's no cost associated with it, and you're just getting drunk and doing what you usually do with your homie? You're probably like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Well, that's just Adrian Broner. And that's the thing too. It's like he picked him up and gave him a blessing. Because all of these expenses that Dean the Great is saying, he's like, yo, I'm paying for all of this. Adrian Broner doesn't have his own cameraman. Adrian Broner doesn't know how to stream. He's just pointing the camera at him. So he's taking revenue away from himself, potentially, because people are watching Adrian Broner on stream, on his own stream, that aren't watching Dean. And Adrian Broner is getting paid on those viewers. So that $20K, if Dean the Great didn't want to support Adrian, he could have just told Adrian Broner not to stream. Could have told AB not to stream and be like, yo, we'll split it this way, or I'll pay you this amount. If Dean was just about his business, he would have signed him to something, got a percentage, or just said, listen, bro, I'm going to pay you this amount every day. And Adrian Broner doesn't even have to see how much money the stream is making. And Adrian Broner would take it because keep in mind, the first time that these guys linked up, Adrian Broner shaved his entire beard for $1,000. He was like, yo, you give me a rack, I'll shave my whole beard. And his beard was like very, very long. So it took him a long time to grow that out. And then he was asking for like, yo, you gonna give me an Uber back to the spot?
You know I'm broke, right? You ain't broke. Rich in spirit, though. No, right. You give me $1,000, I cut my beard.
You ain't broke, bro. Rich in spirit. Nah, this nigga broke. I don't want to say I'm broke, but yeah, he's in the same position as me. But I can handle, like, I'm not. Then again, it goes back to the whole conversation of money. What would you actually do if you had the money? It's a different conversation from someone who has never had the money before. It's a different conversation.
A band? You cut your beard? Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. Chat. For a band, though, he gonna cut his beard.
For a band, boy.
What we talking about? Give me a band, I'll cut my beard. Hey, y'all better get the motherfucking subs. Hold on. Hold on. Give me a band, I'll cut my beard, guys. Hold on. What's gonna be fresh start? When the last time you cut your shit? Oh, man. Damn, God. But cut my shit, though. Damn. Nah, for you, though, I gotta cut my shit.
This shit's a little choppy, though, I won't lie.
For that band, though, I ain't gonna lie, though, God. I ain't gonna lie, cut that off. Cash that, man. You want right now? Yeah. You gotta show me you getting the proof first. You gotta cut that bit first. Nah, that he can swipe now.
No. Bro looks like, who's this guy? He looks like that character from Mafia 3. What's his name? I forgot his name. He looks like that character.
What?
What?
Let him know. Or you get it back. I'm gonna make sure you get it back. I don't got bread. And you're Uber? Uber? Uber?
Yeah, I came with Uber, yeah.
Uber?
I came with Uber, yeah.
You get Uber?
Do I have Uber? No.
Bro, this guy's always strong, boy.
Hey, stop recording it now.
I got you.
You ain't a fool with that.
Nah.
So that's the situation that Adrian Broner was in. You'd think he would have been like, yo, let me see what's going on with the money and all that. No, he wouldn't. And Adrian Broner has his costs covered too. Like Dean's got some expenses. And like Dean said, he said we ran 3 plays today. So if they were supposed to get a couple racks for that one situation that they went to, there were 2 other events that they went to that same day that they probably got paid. It could have been a 10K day, maybe a little bit more. And Adrian Broner is willing to throw away potential hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars because of what? Like, there's got to be something here where he thinks that Dean doesn't deserve it because it's not a money thing. He made 20 racks his first week streaming. I don't know if they paid it out yet, but how do you just mess this up? And this is an Adrian Broner problem. And some people will say, especially the fans, are like, nah, you can work it out. Oh, Adrian will be doing his own thing. No, he won't. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Adrian Broner is going to pick up a selfie stick and record himself and go out and do stuff? No, he's not going to do that. The guy's a lazy drunk that is completely out of it, and he's entertaining to watch, but he needs a handler. And this is the thing that's going to happen. Nobody is going to be willing to handle this guy. He's going to be too much. And they're just going to say, you know what, I just don't want to deal with this guy. Because look at Dean. He was willing to deal with him a lot. And Dean turned into the responsible guy. And that's how you know Dean, when he was like crashing out off the drink or all that, you know, at his core, Dean is responsible and can handle his business. Because when a real drunk came around him, Adrian Broner, you see the guys playing like a father role to him, making sure like, yo, get the bottle out of your hand, man. You're drinking too much. Meanwhile, 2 months ago, Dean the Great was the guy we're all looking like, yo, are you going to put the bottle down or what's going on here? So unfortunately, I do think this has to end off of principle. Maybe Dean might just say like, yo, the viewership makes sense. But mentally, Dean is for sure checked out of this as a friendship. It would just be strictly business after this if he's willing to bring him back. Because somebody that's willing to steal from you like that, that's disgusting. But let me know what y'all think in the comments.
Dog, nothing like that's the most disgusting shit ever, boy. I don't care who you are or whatever your viewpoints of life is. If you're the type of guy to be stealing niggas' money, bro, you fucked up. You one fucked up nigga, bro. Like, you one fucked up nigga. If you're the type of guy to take other people's hard-earned money, dog, and put it in your own pocket, dog, the same people who are helping you, dog, then you don't deserve success, dog. You don't deserve it, dog. You're just a slimy ass nigga. Just a slimy ass nigga, dog. Fuck this guy. Fuck him. I don't fuck with this bullshit, Velani. Spy skilling. Spy engineer skilling.
Hi, my name is Libby.
I don't buy the skilling. I don't buy the skilling, y'all. Then order from me athletes. What the fuck? There's athletes who order from. Okay, that's it.
Drake has just responded to Rick Ross's brand new tour selling 0 tickets. For those of you guys that don't know, a few moments ago, it has officially been confirmed to the entire world that Rick Ross's brand new world tour is looking to absolutely struggle, with him selling out barely any tickets. Now, I am not lying about this. As you can see right here, this is one of the venues that Rick Ross is going to be doing in Miami, Florida, which is his hometown, with all the blue dots indicating tickets that haven't been sold yet. And things are looking so bad for Rick Ross to the point that he is now trying trying to get anybody to buy these tickets, with them offering a buy one get 50% off deal. And with this situation going viral, Drake ended up responding and reacting to this entire situation by him literally liking one of the posts that was making fun of him, as you can see right here on Instagram. What makes this entire situation so much more interesting is the fact that all of this is happening right after Rick Ross a few days ago made fun of Drake by saying that nobody listened to Iceman and that it was horrendous, and that every single person that listened to it ended up wasting an hour of their life. Nonetheless though, what do you guys think about entire...
It's sad, man. It's sad, because I already fuck with Rick Ross. It's sad, man. There was a video I wanted to react to Rick Ross. Where is it? The Rick Ross video is here.
You don't hear nothing like Jay-Z and Alicia Keys.
This video was just playing in the background. I didn't listen. I was still uploading a video when I was checking this video out. So the next video we're gonna be reacting to is "Today has been a very terrible day for Rick Ross." Hold up, am I even recording this shit? Today has been a very terrible day for Rick Ross. Ricky Rose, the biggest boss.
Rick Ross is currently on a press tour for an album he plans on dropping soon, and the interviews he's doing on this press tour is bringing so much chaos, stress, and drama to his life that I don't understand why he keeps putting his foot in his mouth during these interviews. One of the interviews that caused a lot of issues and drama for Rick Ross this week was the Fat Joe and Jada interview. During this interview, Rick Ross says when he sees 50 Cent, he's gonna slap him. Now, obviously, you're not just gonna say that and then, you know, everybody around 50 Cent is gonna sit quietly and wait for you to do it. So Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder, they responded and they revealed some things about Rick Ross that Rick Ross don't want out there.
I like what you said about the whack rappers that might get out of line and just imagine if I had the chance to slap 50 Cent with this right here.
Come on, man.
Yo,
This is a
family show, Ross. No, I'm just saying. Just imagine that. That's a blessing.
I ran out of flag.
We just talked about. No. You just mentioned it.
No, I'm not talking about him.
No, you was.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah. I caught that.
No,
the whack rappers running around.
Sorry for
and then you get the.
I had nothing
with
to
the
do
$1 million
with
backhand. You feel me?
No, I didn't say that.
You was talking about 50 Cent, the whack.
I'm not even thinking about him. I was talking about a time when.
No, I caught that. I caught that alley hoop.
Yo, Ross, stop.
I'm a win by Yaya.
Yeah, win by Yaya.
Bro, why is Rick Ross talking crazy about 50 Cent, dog? Like, why y'all talking crazy on interviews as if... Come on.
I'm giving Joe Crack what Joe Crack asked for. The whack rappers, the 50 Cent.
I never
You threw me the alley hoop on 50. Come get it, 50.
I don't have to, but I'll be clear. I definitely wasn't thinking about 50 Cent. I was thinking about some old school rappers. I don't want to say who. Some friends of mine that back in the day, they had the game in the chokehold and then they
flopped.
Man, they
G
invited me
Unit.
to the no.
It was G Unit. It was them.
Come on, bro.
The dog cheek. What's that name? Uncle Murder. That cheek's way darker than his forehead. He need that rewind skin cream. I caught that alley hoop, man.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I went by y'all out there.
That's PG-13. I don't
Kiss, what that
means?
I think it's the race.
Come on now. Let's keep it real.
Yo, when you have so many enemies, dog, god damn it.
The cheeks dog.
Listen, you gonna say I inspired that talk?
You
Chris?
did.
I don't know. You gonna say that?
Caught the alley hoop.
What's the one meal Benny McCarthy misses?
I know the answer, but if you want to know, you better watch What's the Difference?
Flat tire in the fast lane? Good thing you're naked and can get roadside assistance anytime on the Naked app. Get naked.
Rick Ross has always been outspoken, but this interview run he just did, the 9 or 10 interviews he did in a row, we ain't never seen Rick Ross pop his ish like this before. Now, do I think Rick Ross is actually going to slap 50 Cent when he sees him? No. Right? We've seen Rick Ross square up right? When he was in overseas and they had that brawl. I think he was in Toronto and the Drake goons pulled up and spanked him. So we seen Rick Ross squabble up. I don't think Rick Ross wants any issues with 50 Cent. Like 50 Cent, wasn't 50 Cent like an actual boxer, right? But nonetheless, though, Uncle Murder and Tony Yayo responded back on behalf of 50 Cent, and they revealed things that Rick Ross probably don't want out there, including Rick Ross had the opportunity to do all the tough stuff in person, and he didn't do nothing according to Tony Yayo.
Rick Ross not smacking nobody. He up there talking
For
about
sure,
smacking somebody.
smacking 50.
We saw you in Canada, brother. We saw you run on your peoples and all that. We know you not about that. We seen you run on your peoples. Man. We know you soft, my brother.
The volume is now like Death Row Records, y'all. and this is why I'm gonna tell y'all that. I never thought it'd be like Death Row Records over there. I love the volume. Shout to Hard Rock Betting. Shout to everybody that adds on the show. I love all you guys. So you got Rick Ross on Joe and Jada. You got Ross telling Mal to you know what and his mom's, which is crazy. It's crazy to a point. I don't talk about nobody's mother. That's just not me.
What is Rick Ross doing, bro? I mean, I'm still a fan of Rick Ross. I'm gonna listen to the album when he drops because obviously I'm a Rose fan, bro. So but it's just disappointing to hear like Footy. You know what? It's expected, boy.
I mean, that's me.
You never know
then
how a
you
person
got
actually
him dissing the G Unit and my man Murder on there.
Shout out,
But
Shaq,
to me, Rick Ross jokes is getting dry. Murder, clean my boat. Yayo, mow my lawn. I don't care about none of that, bro.
Rick Ross not smacking nobody. He up there talking
For
about
sure,
smacking somebody.
smacking
we
50.
saw you in Canada, brother. We saw you run on your peoples and all that. We know you not about that. We seen you run on your peoples. Man. We know you soft, my brother.
BET Awards, right? When it happened with Jeezy, I was there. I was backstage. It was only a few good men. This is when the gunplay got his chain took and all that. Right. There was a few good men there. I'm not gonna keep saying names to be federal on here, but there was a good few men there, and it was not traveling light. When Rick Ross walked by me, and a few good men, because it was like maybe 5 of us, and this is when 50 is going back and forth with Diddy backstage. They going back and forth. 50 told, I think that's the day he told French, Meek is better than you. 50 was just wilding that day. There was a lot of shit going on. But Ross walked right by me. Smack got the video. He just don't want to put it out because I don't know why, for political reasons.
Smack put the video out.
He got the video. He walked right by me. They said, what up? They had like 30 with them. And I'm like, what up? It wasn't like we don't never travel light, so he knows it's not like that.
Right.
But now the volume is definitely like Death Row. I don't know what's going on. Shout to the volume.
If I'm Rick Ross, I wouldn't even go with the, hey, when I see you, I'm going to slap you angle, because that's not even his brand. Like, I don't think nobody looks at Rick Ross and thinks super squabbler, super fighter. When Rick Ross sees you, he going to be... No, so even that to me is like, why? Right? Like, why even like put that out there into the...
Yeah, we know Rick Ross is... And this happens a lot, even like this side. Like, niggas try to act tough. Don't act tough, dog. Just do you and do your thing. If it happens that you get in a squabble up, dog, then... that's that, you know what I'm saying? But don't be actively trying to antagonize people, dog. Like, it's a bad look. I know Rick Ross for making great music, dope music, man. I fuck with Rick Ross. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I fuck with Rick Ross. I fuck with Rick Ross. So he's making great music. I love the visuals, and he's always dropping new shit, bro. So, and he's a money getter. I don't know him for like fighting, bro.
Universe, right? Because now, guess what? When we see you run across, let's say 50 or Tony Yayo or Uncle Murder, let's just say, I don't know, at the BET Awards or at the Grammys somewhere, and you don't do what you're going to do, now it's going to look even worse for you. And if they're saying, bro, we already seen him in the height of our beef and he ain't do nothing, right? Now, the 50 Cent slapping thing was not the only source of drama this week. Rick Ross did several interviews dissing Drake. Now, the first time he did it, it was funny. The second time, it was fun. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth time,
it was like,
he just came across as a hater. Even during his Patrick Bet-David interview, when he brought up Drake, Patrick Bet-David, who probably knows nothing about hip-hop, was able to kind of rebuttal some of the things Rick Ross says and made him look crazy towards the end.
Would you put Drake at your level?
No.
You're not putting Drake at your level.
Look at PBD eyes when he
Bro,
says it.
Look at his face. Like, even he doesn't believe it. Like, what? Bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, what are we even talking about?
The PBD is looking at Rick Ross like, are you on drugs? Yo, did you smoke a hot one before you got here? What are you talking about?
No, see, you might be, I could see it in your eyes, you might be confused with the numbers.
Oh, flip, Rick Ross. I can see it in your eyes. You're confused by the numbers and all the fake streams.
And all of the fake numbers flood the marketplace, 50 something. That shit ain't nothing. Remember what I told you? The streets are the streets. If Drake was what he thought, what you think he was or what he thought he was, he would have been able to clear all this shit up, address it, and been moved on. He's still suing the label. That's like him. He might sue you for speaking of him on this situation. He might sue you. He might.
Bro, what? Bro, Rick Ross, what are you doing, bro? Saying Drake might just send another cease and desist, dog, is crazy. That's crazy, bro.
He send you a cease and desist.
That would be a compliment.
It's a nice alley-oop.
That's a nice alley-oop.
Let him know.
But if it does, I'll definitely text you and I'll say we got to share the legal fees together.
Shit, no.
Because we would share legal fees together. We get the same lawyers.
No, we won't, man. He might sue you. He sued Lucian Grange.
What did Lucian say?
I'm not sure.
Lucian is a heavyweight, though. Lucian is.
I know, but
he's got a little bit dark side to him.
When you diss certain people and they can't deal with it emotionally, they're embarrassed, they're humiliated.
Bro,
that's when they sue all of these people.
Did you listen to Iceman, the new?
I listened to some of it. My engineer was horrendous.
What did he give it? 0 to 10.
Oh man, it was. I mean, Pitchfork gave it. I said it was mid. Mid meant 5. Pitchfork gave it a 4 point something. I don't know, but it was like, no one's my friend. You left me alone. Oh my, it's that type of shit.
As a fellow hater myself, I got to applaud him. This man is turning Drake's biggest win in the last 2 years into an L. But he's doing a masterful job because he's keeping it on the things that are subjective, such as how the music sounds, how well the music played in his ears, right? The quality of the music. Those are things that are subjective because my ears obviously hear something different than your ears, right? I could hear Drake album
and just to clarify, like, Drake has always made better music than Rick Ross. It has never even been a close one. Drake has always made better music, bro. Like, always made better music, dog. I don't want to hear none of that flipping ghostwriter bullshit nonsense, because we all know for a fact his biggest songs were written by him. So let's not even put the whole ghostwriter bullshit in there, dog. Drake has always made better music than Rick Ross. So for him to come out and say something like this, bro, it's like a player being 90 and you being an 80 overall. And then when that player drops to 85, bro, you're on fucking 70.
I could think it's a second comment of Thriller. You can hear it and you can think it's trash. You can't really debate that. But where he went wrong at is he began to transition into the objective metrics. He began to say things like nobody is listening to it, right? It's not performing well on the charts. It don't really got good numbers. Like things that Patrick Bet-David could very easily debunk and check up on. And Patrick Bet did that to Rick Ross's face. And you can see Rick Ross get really annoyed once PBD kind of like shut down the entire is not successful conversation.
Niggas be talking about numbers, getting the bitch. Look at the numbers I prove. Niggas be talking about numbers.
You gotta be a boss out here, man.
So nothing that would be in your new playlist that you were showing.
Was it anything in my recent
playlist? I didn't hear all of them. I don't know if you got a,
I mean.
But have you personally listened to every single one of the tracks in the new album?
No, I couldn't do it.
You couldn't do it?
No.
By which one did you stop? 5?
I'm not
did
sure.
you make it to 5 or 6?
I'm not sure.
I'm not trying to shame Rick Ross for hating, but when you hate, you got to do it properly. PBD asked Rick Ross, did you make it to track 5 on the Drake album?
No, I'm not sure.
He says, I'm not sure. Well, then, like, you can't, right? Like, now your opinion of the album itself don't get taken seriously. Because if you personally haven't listened to 5 songs on the album, and he dropped 3 albums, 48 tracks, I think total, and you ain't get through 5, then your opinion on whether or not the album is good or not means nothing. And it doesn't matter what other people say. If you haven't heard it, you can't make an opinion on it or a judgment on it.
I gotta realize when it was going, it's music people that's on my team that's I allowed him to be you could be a Drake fan if you like his music. I'm not gonna take, no, don't put, we not on that type of shit. Listen to it if you want to listen to it. And I had people that listened to it. By the 5th song they came out, they was like, damn, this shit whack. And they went back in, listened to it. I'm like,
come on, bro. You're gonna honestly take the opinion of some of the people who support you and who also don't fuck with Drake's opinion as a serious opinion. Like, that makes no sense, dog. It's like asking one of my enemies or one of the niggas who don't fuck with me, like, how's my music sound? Of course they're not gonna big me up, dog. Why would they big me up? Like, it makes no sense, cause they fucking with you, though, on your side, so they ain't finna big me up.
like, it's not nothing that's dope. You don't hear nothing like Jay-Z and Alicia Keys from New York. You don't hear none of that. You know, this is a motherfucker who always bringing up Michael Jackson. What a Billie Jean at? What a Thriller. And my homies actually sat there and they lost an hour of their life for this shit.
Listen to it.
Yeah.
Are they recovering?
Yeah. Trauma.
It's tough.
It is.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Now, by the way,
when you've been waiting after you seen people put ice blocks in the middle of places and promoted and marketed and the world knew what day it was coming out and the shit came out and really, folded.
How is it performing on the charts, Rob?
Who?
I'm not tracking how Iceman.
I'm not sure.
Performing.
Now he knows how it's performed. Now he know exactly how it's performed. If Rick Ross was honest, he would have said, "Hey man, it's tying Taylor Swift record right for most top tens on Billboard. Right, he got 10 top tens on Billboards from one album. They're all going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10 consecutively from one album. That's a record." He's going to be the first artist as Michael Jackson to have 3 albums go 1, 2, and 3 and on Billboards in 1 week. Michael Jackson did this when he passed away in 2009. Right? So Drake is the first person who's alive who did it. That's 2. He's set to sell about 500, maybe 480 to 520 first week. That's amazing. That's amazing. Right? He's set to run the charts for the next, unforeseeable future. Rick Ross is taking advantage of Patrick Bet-David's, ignorance, and he knows that Patrick Bet-David don't really know much about hip hop, right? So Rick Ross goes above and beyond to try to discredit Drake's numbers. But even somebody who knows nothing about hip hop is able to do basic research and find out Rick Ross is full of ish.
On the chart.
Rose don't.
Yeah, well, let's see. Iceman recorded 140.2 million first-day Spotify streams, officially making the biggest album debut in 2026 so far. The figure has placed immediately pressure on competitors and set a new benchmark for opening. Drake's Janice has reached #1 on Apple Music. So that shows it's doing okay. That's showing it's doing pretty good.
I don't know what you're reading, but do me a favor and pull up Spotify. Let's go.
Rick Ross, but no, you can't do that, bro. And despite him doing all of this shit, I'll still play his album, dog. Because
Go to the real streaming. Pull up Drake's Spotify. That didn't even have a logo, what you was just reading. So you might be an Iceman fan.
I'm not.
Rick Ross, you can't, you can't, bro.
Listen to it just so you know. Okay, so how do you go to see where it's ranking?
Yo.
Iceman fan.
I'm not listening.
It must be an Iceman
logo, fan. What you was just reading. So you might be an Iceman fan.
I'm not listening to it just so you know. Okay, so how do you go to see where it's ranking?
I'm not sure. I'm talking about the articles. That look like the stream. I don't know.
So Rob, why don't you type in Drake, Iceman, then go to news reviews.
You like Drake. You've been talking about him 20
just so you know, I will tell you, this is the fun fact about me. I stopped, my hip hop stopped in early 2000.
This not hip hop.
His not hip hop.
No, this not hip hop. I like how he used the Michael Jackson glove right around the time the Michael Jackson movie came out. You ride that wave. Mm-hmm. He know how to ride a wave, but it ain't working.
When these clips hit the timeline, they had the opposite effect that Rick Ross intended. People made fun of him, right? He was the butt of the joke. He was called out as a hater. People seeing right through it. You know, it just wasn't a good look. I think Rick Ross should have spent time talking about his album, talking about what he got coming up next, spending time talking about Drake and trying to make.
Man, he could have just said like, yeah, man, shout out the boy Drake, man. He's doing amazing things, man. And just stop it there, bro. Sometimes you don't need to get into any details, dog. You know what I'm saying, dog? Like you don't have to be a tattletale, because then you end up losing valuable time talking about shit that don't even matter.
It can seem like Drake is unsuccessful when, like, clearly that's not true. It just makes you look crazy. All right, but y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this? Okay, and if you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here to find out how the murder investigations are.
Is that Young Lils? Shout out you guys. Be sure I get them subs up. It's your boy. It's your boy. At least there's now 3 videos now in the bag. Just need to like edit them. I ain't finna edit them now, bro. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I ain't finna edit them now. Teach me, baby. On my phone, they gotta read me, baby. And my sis came with the heat seek, baby. Pull up bands going beep, beep, baby. Man, Rick Ross is a fucking hater. Somebody give me that live. Gonna get it up.
Reach me,
Shout out
baby. Call my phone and say you need me, baby. All right, let me stop. That hook on Janice STFU is so addictive that I'm just now realizing this thing's a full diss track. And will it be enough to activate Kendrick Lamar? Well, if I was Kendrick, I'd get activated. Family is Providence, and I'm here to tell the truth. Iceman is performing really well, and it is scheduled to hold all 10 spots after its full first week of release.
Sure. Janice ran to a national trend. You gotta whisper my name. Yeah, whisper my name is also Shabang. All of my got the gang. Ayy. And then the dang. Ayy. Make them cry. 2 hours for radio does. Ish, but number 10.
Release. The number 1 spot is predicted to be Janice STFU. If it isn't that, it'll be Ran to Atlanta. But Janice STFU is scheduled to take the number 1 spot. A couple weeks ago, I released a video talking about what I predict is going to be on Iceman. And one of the things I predicted was that there could possibly be a full diss track towards Kendrick Lamar. Now, obviously Kendrick was being dissed throughout Iceman, but I was wondering if Drake would have a sustained attack on Kendrick Lamar. After listening to Janice STFU, I now realize that that is this track. It would make sense that Drake would look for a response to Not Like Us.
Teach me, baby. Hold my phone, they gotta read me, baby. That shit too crazy. Hey, bury that live somewhere in here. Go give me the. If I call up your shorty tonight, she eating up. Hey, come on, bro. Y'all just not fucking with the goats. What is this guy doing? Is he still playing?
Must be the African channel. 40K by Blue Missile.
Wait, did Jid drop a new song? Can't be. You're not looking for Jid, you're looking for Jid, dumbass. Nah, that song being dropped, bro. Why is this guy so late? This guy's late, bro. I'm Vancouver, you and he's sick, baby. Pull up bands going beep, beep, baby. From Vancouver, gotta read me, baby. Hey, buried alive.
This is not a joke. Kendrick Lamar's best friend was just spotted dancing and listening to Drake's brand new album, Iceman. As you guys just saw a few moments ago, a very shocking video has just...
Hey man, when you make good music, you make good music, bro. Like, they can't take away God's talent, bro. A lot of people, they try to take away what God is giving, bro. What God is given to you, dog, cannot be taken by any person alive, boy. On God. On God and the dead homies. On God and the dead homies. What does that mean? It's fake.
Oh, would you look at that? Ghost of Yotei looks like it's actually being admitted to as a massive failure from Sony. And one thing I've noticed every time I've covered Ghost of Yotei is
baby. I'm sugar with the heat seats, baby.
covered Ghost of Yotei is Sony will go out of their way to be like, Sucker Punch Studios doing great, and Ghost of Yotei is selling just as much as we wanted it to. But they never actually talk numbers, and they never go over any of the details. And they'll say things very specific to certain periods of time to make it seem like it's doing really well everywhere else, instead of just telling people what the numbers are and being like, yeah, guys, it's not. I said, wow. And Sony/Sucker Punch continued supporting Tsushima for more than a year. It's almost like Ghost of Yotei didn't do as well as Sony wanted you to think. And that Smash was right about it all along. Weird. And I tagged the PlayStation blog link here. Sucker Punch ends support for Ghost of Yotei's online multiplayer mode just 2 months after launch. Again, it was well over a year, almost 2 years. Depending on who you ask, actually, some people are saying it was over 2 years for Ghost of Tsushima's online multiplayer mode and updates coming through. 2 months for Ghost of Yotei. Pirate Nation says, Ghost of Yotei multiplayer mode will not get more updates just 3 months after launch. Sucker Punch says the Legends team play mode in Ghost of Yotei will not get any more big updates. The free multiplayer mode launched on March 10th, 2026, and the April raid update is the last big one planned after only about 2 months of major support.
That's crazy.
The servers will stay open forever, so you can keep playing. Well, define forever, by the way. They may fix small issues or add tiny events later, but no more big new content is coming. This is much shorter than the Legends mode in Ghost of Tsushima, which got updates for many years. Weird.
Hey man,
again, Sony's not going to come out and say, hey guys, Ghost of Yotei failed. But if you read between the lines of, hey, we tried to do the same thing with Tsushima with this game and it didn't take off, and we pulled the plug on it after 2 months, I think that pretty much tells you that this game is not doing good at all. That's not a stretch to say. This is confirming everything that I've been saying about it from before it even launched, by the way. Noir says, Ghost of Yotei's multiplayer mode is already dead. The game is less successful than Tsushima. PlayStation doesn't want to port it to PC to hide the embarrassing Steam player count numbers. That's a whole nother thing. Jason Schreier was reporting on Bloomberg and then used himself as a source for the article that he wrote himself months earlier, confirming his own article, which was a whole thing in its own right, saying that Sony is not going to be bringing their single-player campaign mode games to PC. If that is to be believed, I look at this as, based off of how bad Saros is performing, how bad Ghost of Yotei did, compared to Tsushima, Sony really, at the end of the day, doesn't want people to know how bad these games are doing. If you launch them on Steam, the concurrent player count numbers show. And a part of me, I'd be lying if I didn't say this, was really looking forward to the launch of Yotei on PC to cover it. That would have been gold content to be like, look at how bad this game is doing. I am vindicated because nobody wanted to play this game. Look at how bad these numbers are. Sony's saving themselves by pulling it out and saying, we're not even going to do that in the first place. We're not going to give people the opportunity to laugh at it. Even if it brings in some additional money.
For me, video games whereby the main character is female, they're like, You can just forget about me playing those games, man. I'm not very much excited about this project, I'm not gonna lie. Eric Rush. What happens to that prove? Is he still doing more music? You're gonna get yours while I'm doing me. So it doesn't actually have a channel. This is how you see where an artist's actual head is. If a nigga doesn't even have a flipping YouTube channel, bro. Or is this his channel? Or is this the record label's channel? Four years, 2 years. 4 years, only dropped 2 songs. Fuck, Eric. 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos. Hey guys, don't give up on your dreams, guys. Never give up on your dreams, guys. Last time I heard from him was on New Age Voyage.
You wash your whole body.
No, I wanna see when it actually dropped. That's what I wanna see. 4 years ago. Fuck, bro. She eats BBC. Yeah, that's a very funny title. I didn't make it on Iceman. Who's this? Shout out, chat. Be sure I get them subs up if y'all new to the channel.
The fact that I was able to come together with a group of close friends.
Aye, bro, you're talking too slow for me, bro. I only have enough time in a day, bro. Drake's beef with Blackboy Max.
Drake was doing like a stream with Aiden Ross. During that stream, he was saying he was watching one of my streams I was doing in the booth with D Savage. He was saying how he with it. He was saying good things, but the way he said it, I thought he was on some condescending, like, this little streamer. There are many people, because this is new, that will try to downplay streaming or downplay what we're doing. Mind you, Drake.
Yo. Copyrights. Can't you just open his mouth? Somebody going and grabbing right now. West Coast niggas do phase, right? What is he gonna say?
How you liking it though? It's only been one day. I didn't get clipped that much yesterday though. Cause it was you were just reacting. Yeah. Everybody's reacting. Yesterday I seen hella clips of my stream of what's the name? When you do like this is gonna get clipped hella because you're doing actual content. Yeah. It's time, bro. I felt good. We're gonna see. I'm gonna just see. You know. I'll be getting like I don't know, bro. Watch, it don't feel. It feel. You know what it feels like? It feels like. I feel like I started over. That's what I was gonna say. It feel like starting over again. But what I realized, bro, if you really one of them, bro, you can start from anything. But no, of course. Like I didn't move people from I know since
handle the channel.
It started over a hella times.
Yeah.
From Instagram to YouTube to Twitch, it's just another thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I fucking hate starting over, dog. Like, I fucking hate starting over.
I mean, I ain't worried at all whatsoever. But you know what I don't want to think, just because I'm on here, like, I'm finna be doing wild. That's not what I'm on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the regular shit I usually stream. Y'all call it PR, whatever the f y'all want to call it, but like, that's just me, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm gonna just do me, and then I'm gonna just vibe. But I've been on Kick. I think I've been streaming on this. I might have just been gambling. But, you know, I ain't gambling right now.
Why are bananas wrapped in plastic?
Steve, that's a question that's been haunting you.
Find out why on What's the Difference?
This guy loves money too much.
Cake's gonna be that one. I feel like there's more discoverability for it now. A couple years ago, 2023, no, I didn't think there really wasn't. But now it's like they playing Monopoly. They took over everything. We're gonna see. I don't be lit though.
I need to try to get another 100 subs, huh? My Eddie came in and dropped 100.
Yeah.
But I checked my analytics. I got all of it.
Yeah, 95.
I said, hold on, brother. Them subs mean a little more these days.
So imagine
when you do a subathon
that's what I was just
on
saying.
Twitch, though, it's like, bro, let's do it 24 hours.
You can't sleep, bro.
We ain't gonna sleep.
Well, we should do it 24 hours.
But have somebody do like night
a
shift.
Night shift. I got a what's the name? I want to do like a 24 hours, but like we could have like a DJ. You know what I'm saying? At night, playing music, like a club in here.
Better idea.
Huh?
While we sleep, we just had girls come up here and twerk.
Man.
Briscoe, appreciate that 5. Cause then it's cool. Like,
you got strip clubs.
We can put a stripper pole in here,
Mm-hmm.
and we have strippers in here while we sleep.
Oh.
But we sleeping though.
Yeah.
While the chat just getting entertained. It's really for the chat. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for us, obviously, because we sleep. But that'd be fire. But I wonder how much like that would cost though.
Yeah, no. I mean, they'll be excited just to be on this for sure. Make sure they don't steal nothing and shit.
Not all. Just because they dance don't mean they steal.
No. To be stealing.
You're right.
Not because
I did get robbed by a stripper before.
Yeah, I got robbed by a stripper. Like what the?
Yeah.
Why the
But not all of them like that. Yeah, it was for like a Bape hoodie though. It was like 2017, 2016.
Hell no, bitch took
I stupid. I went to sleep. Wake
Trust. Up, she gone.
I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be loved on, man. After around, went to sleep. Woke up, my favorite hoodie gone. Y'all remember the hoodie too? It was a green Bape hoodie, and Bape was spelt out on it, and it was like bedazzles on it. Y'all know I wore that damn near every day. Y'all know
she
exactly
took
what
that
I'm
shit,
talking
boy.
That's what I'm saying. It's all good. I'm with the 24 hours. That shit would be lit. You gotta get everybody else on here.
Yeah.
I think Dub's gonna switch too.
Cool.
You got what? You getting waves now?
Yeah, my swimming already. Look at my last TikTok, my last Instagram post. I don't want to take it off because it took a lot to put it on. See how nice it look?
Okay.
This the Nike Nocta joint too.
Type shit.
Friends and family.
How long does it take you to get waves?
2 days.
I take you 2 days to get no waves, bro.
2 days for me. Took me 2 days.
Wait, why'd you cut your hair in the first place? Because he was patching?
But I did post something. I posted a wave check today and yesterday, and people was telling me that I was going bald.
You are going
But it's just my crown. Like my crown right here. Like when I brush, I'm brushing down and I'm brushing side, and then there's a line in the middle. I'm not going bald. I'm just like learning how to brush my. So, I mean, that's one thing I've been dealing with. I mean, if I was to genuinely go bald, I wouldn't do what my brother doing.
You would just go bald, right?
I'd just go bald.
Yeah.
I would tap my head. That's exactly what I would do. I would get a tattoo.
On some Fousey shit?
Just how Fousey did it. I'm gonna tap my head, make that look like it's shaved, or I'm gonna like just put a bunch of designs and shit. I never had to get a haircut. My line would be straight for life. Niggas talks about my. Hey, never talks about my line no more. I'm low key thinking about doing that anyway. Just like,
nah, that's
tatting my lineup right here, tatting a good lineup,
But it's like if the
The artist judge your artist cup, it's over.
You got a cricket lineup. What the
For life.
That's kind of stupid.
Nah, you got like a couple more years. And then you're alright. That's okay. I'm figuring out baldness just runs in your family though.
Nah.
That's cool though.
Nah, it's
Didi. Didi. Fighting is for weakness. The weakness is for weakness of the soul. What the fuck?
If you're aware that you don't know how to do that, you know what you do? You stay in the hotel, you ask the hotel where you should be. Ask the hotel where you should be. You don't tell somebody, bring me where Juvenile shot Hyatt.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Absolutely right. That's a great example.
You flew out
That
here.
is a great example.
You flew.
Yeah.
You flew over
Yeah.
all
You know
what's
kinds
funny?
of
You know what's
lions
funny?
and bears and down in the forest.
And you
landed here, passed up the alligators, and said, "Bring me where the video."
You know how many did that?
Time.
Shout out Currency, man. Rap legend, that's one. Trying to have like as many projects as he has. I don't know. I think he has like over. I think last time I counted was like over 50 projects or some shit, dog. I'm also trying to have like at least 50 albums before I die, boy. This dropped 50 albums. Right now I have like 4 projects, so I'm missing 46. 46 more projects, gang. And I'm talking full-fledged projects, dog. I'm not talking like, man, so I'm not talking just like, you know what I'm saying, like full-fledged projects or projects I feel like, yeah, this one was kind of hard. Yeah, Scott Adkins was actually a great rapper, gang. I ain't even lie to you. What am I saying? Scott Adkins was a great rapper. Scott Adkins was a great actor. The fuck am I saying? Wait, let's tap in. Be sure I subscribe to the channel, chat. Wait, let me tap in. Where's that video? So no, it's underneath. I fucking love this guy's movies, boy.
Not that you should be doing that. Wait, are they?
If you like,
you gonna arrest me? What happens? Oh, they're getting out.
Scott Adkins has some of the most brutal fight scenes in cinema. Real skills that very few actors can match. And yet, almost nobody talks about him. While others get all the fame, Adkins has spent years dominating in silence, building a career based on discipline, technique, and pure skill. But how underrated is Scott Adkins actually? The film industry has spent years searching for the definitive Batman, while denying Scott Adkins the opportunity to play the role. They keep holding endless auditions, trying to find someone who not only wears the suit, but can actually fight like the real Dark Knight. Yet the action scenes keep falling short. When Ben Affleck arrived, the fights relied heavily on stunt doubles. With Christian Bale, shaky cameras were used to hide his limitations. And with Robert Pattinson, the action scenes were arguably the weakest part of the entire movie. Meanwhile, Scott Adkins kept grinding away in smaller projects, risking everything on screen and proving he could do it all himself. No doubles, no effects, no editing tricks to save him. We're talking about a martial artist with decades of training, an imposing physical presence, and a deep respect for fight choreography. That Batman already exists, and his name is Scott Adkins. The problem is that Hollywood never paid attention to him. Instead, they spent millions trying to manufacture what he already had. Naturally, something clearly demonstrated in the Undisputed Saga.
Great series, by the way.
In 2006, something happened that would change action cinema forever. Scott Adkins brought Yuri Boyka to life in Undisputed 2, Last Man Standing, a Russian prisoner, an unstoppable fighter, a character who had everything needed to become as legendary as Rocky, Rambo, or John Wick. Undisputed 2, Last Man Standing, needed an antagonist for Michael Jai White, someone who could not only match White physically, but surpass him on screen. Someone so technically precise that the combat would feel real. The role was Yuri Boyka, the most feared beast in any prison he stepped into. It was this movie that launched Adkins into the mainstream with his portrayal of Yuri Boyka, a Russian MMA fighter competing in underground prison fights, in what has been acclaimed as one of the greatest American martial arts films of recent times. But what nobody expected was what happened after the release. Boyka was the villain. But the fans didn't want to see the hero, they wanted to see Boyka. The character's calculated arrogance, his superhuman technique, his impossible spinning kicks, and his declaration,
"I'm the most complete fighter in the world,"
all resonated in a way no production had anticipated. The Undisputed franchise is criminally underrated. Every fight feels like watching a real MMA bout, from the cinematography to the brutal, fast, and impressive choreography performed by the cast. Adkins returned as Boyka in Undisputed 3, Redemption, a performance that earned him the Action on Film Award for Breakout Action Star, and later in Boyka, Undisputed 4, which won him the Jackie Chan Action Movie Award for Best Action Movie Actor. And what did Hollywood do? Absolutely nothing. Not a single major offer. Not one studio said, "This guy could be our next big action hero." Meanwhile, they kept pouring millions into reboots, unnecessary sequels, and actors with absolutely no charisma for action. While Hollywood ignored Adkins, they continued betting on the most absurd formula imaginable. Actors with no real training, millions spent on effects, and shaky cameras hiding what they can't actually do. The villain had become the protagonist. the supporting character had become the soul of an entire franchise. And he did it all without a single major Hollywood studio investing a dime. And this is where Scott Adkins' story becomes genuinely frustrating and genuinely fascinating. Because while Boyka was turning him into a cult icon, the major studios kept using him the exact same way, as a secret weapon. They brought him into their movies to make the fights work, to elevate the credibility of the action sequences, to give the main character an opponent who actually looked dangerous. And then they still wouldn't give him the leading role. And if you don't believe me, here comes the painful part. Let's look at how Hollywood, over and over again, wasted Scott Adkins' talent. In The Bourne Ultimatum, he was barely a nameless thug who dies within seconds. It was pathetic and ridiculous. In X-Men Origins, Wolverine, he played Weapon 11, a role where you barely even see his face, despite performing complex movements for the character. In The Expendables 2, he was the villain Jason Statham quickly takes out. His big moment only existed to make someone else look better, a role designed to elevate the protagonist more than himself. And in Doctor Strange, he appears in a minor supporting role as Lucian. Do you see the pattern? Marvel had him right there in their hands. They could have turned him into Taskmaster, Iron Fist, Shang-Chi, any character that genuinely required martial arts skill. And all that time, Scott Adkins was available, waiting, perfecting his craft, proving in independent films that he was the answer everyone was looking for. Every one of those movies was a massive blockbuster, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And in almost all of them, the action scenes featuring Adkins are among the most talked about and celebrated. Yet, in almost every single one,
at least it's getting paid, bro.
Adkins is stuck in a supporting role or a minor character. That's the real problem. Hollywood learned how to simulate martial arts with choreography, digital effects, and rapid editing. It stopped wanting someone who could actually fight to be the star. They could keep the celebrity they already had and bring in Adkins to do the hard work from the shadows. We are witnessing one of the most elaborate and ridiculous wastes of talent in modern Hollywood. The opportunity for action and martial arts cinema to evolve into something greater is slipping through our fingers like water, and that is exactly the point we need to talk about next. To understand why Scott Adkins is different from almost everything Hollywood has produced in his generation, you have to understand what happens when the camera points at him during a fight scene. All of Scott Adkins' best fight sequences share a ferocious sense of kinetic energy, intensity, and genuine martial arts expertise that separates him from almost everyone else in the industry. His kicks don't look like anyone else's because they aren't fake choreography disguised by editing. They are real taekwondo, real kickboxing, real wushu, executed by someone who has spent more than 30 years perfecting them. When Adkins lands a spinning kick on screen, there's a physical realism in the movement that the audience instinctively recognizes as authentic. Known for his brutal and explosive kicks, Adkins is unbelievably fast and relentlessly lethal in every action scene he performs. And that's exactly why his fights against other elite martial artists feel so special and exciting, including his multiple. Battles with Michael Jai White, the chaotic showdown with Tony Jaa and Iko Uwais, and especially his clash against the legendary Donnie Yen, his fight against Iko Uwais and Tony Jaa simultaneously in Triple Threat, two of the greatest martial arts performers of modern cinema, attacking him at the same time is one of the most impressive action sequences filmed in the last decade. And most of the world has never even seen it.
I've never seen it.
The most physically gifted action actor of his generation was still stuck in the shadows, still waiting for an opportunity. Until, almost by accident, it finally arrived. In John Wick, Chapter 4, Scott Adkins played Killa, an overweight German crime boss with gold teeth and a grotesque presence. John Wick, Chapter 4 arrived with one of the most stacked action casts in years. Keanu Reeves, Donnie Yen, Hiroyuki Sanada, and Scott Adkins as Killa Harkan. It was a supporting role, once again, despite being weighed down by a 45-kilogram fat suit that completely altered his appearance. Adkins delivered an incredibly dynamic performance as Killa, emphasizing the character's brute force fighting style by tossing John Wick around like a rag doll. The irony was perfect. the most technically advanced martial artist in the entire movie, was buried under layers of prosthetics, playing a man who mostly fights with heavy punches. And somehow, he still stole the scene. The reviews were almost unanimous. Scott Adkins is the best part of the movie. Fans immediately started asking for a spin-off. His fight scene went viral within hours. But here's the real irony. In order to shine, Scott had to do it hidden beneath 40 kilos of prosthetics, concealing his physique, his face, and everything that made him physically unique. Once again, he was cast as the obstacle for someone else to overcome, and yet, he still stood out. For new fans discovering him through John Wick, Adkins felt like a revelation. For the people who had followed him since Boyka, it was simply confirmation of what they had always known. That this man could do absolutely anything asked of him, under any restriction imaginable, and still end up being the most interesting person on screen. Scott Adkins is undoubtedly one of the best action...
It's sad, man. It happens to the best of us, gang. Same thing like Ras. Ras is one of the most complete rappers / artists out there, but you know what I'm saying? No Grammy, gang. We gotta stop trying to play in fields they don't want us to play in, gang.
How do you make players of both Street Fighter and Tekken really angry? This guy. The character of Akuma features in both...
I've never understood this guy's character.
No time limit. 90% of the profit. FTMO. One-step challenge.
Whether you are buying or selling, find your happy place with Auto
Never
Trader.
understood this guy, bro.
Here's a question. How do you make players of both Street Fighter and Tekken really angry? This guy. The character...
Akuma. I still don't understand this guy. I also think this guy was the evil Ken, till I realize it's just another
of Akuma features in both Street Fighter and Tekken. Today, we're tracing his story, examining his ridiculous powers, and explaining why he's basically broken the rules of these fighting games. The birth of a murder monk. Akuma's creation traces back to an April Fool's hoax published by Electronic Gaming Monthly, which claimed players could unlock a secret fight against Ryu and Ken's master, Sheng Long. In early versions of Street Fighter, the trick was fake, but the idea stuck. If you want to learn more about the whole thing, check out the video we made all about it. Capcom took the secret boss level thing to a new level and decided to invent Akuma. Visually and philosophically, Akuma is steeped in Buddhist symbolism. His design mirrors the Neo-Temple Guardians that embody divine wrath used to repel corruption. Akuma reflects the overt, destructive forces of these figures, while his brother Gouken represents restrained power. Even Akuma's later rope garments evoke spiritual imagery, bindings worn by deities to contain overwhelming force, implying that he might deliberately limit himself to make combat more meaningful. He is destruction, choosing to fight with a handicap. Possibly. It is also shown that he trains constantly and seeks the ultimate battle, so it might be that he refuses to nerf himself. The tension of power and restraint really adds depth to his whole backstory, though. Akuma and Gouken were trained by their master Gotetsu in a lethal martial art built around the Satsui no Hado, a murderous impulse that amplifies strength at the cost of compassion. Gouken rejected it, Akuma embraced it completely. To him, the art was meant to kill, and anything less was weakness. His pursuit of mastery culminated in murdering his own teacher with the Shungokusatsu, a technique that attacks the soul itself. When Gouken confronted him, their clash overshadowed their brotherhood, pitting two forces against one another with opposite takes on what they'd been taught. Akuma's take is brutally clear. He wanders the world seeking opponents strong enough to give him the ultimate fight, treating combat as spiritual purification through violence. Yet he's not mindless evil. He follows a very warped warrior code of refusing to slaughter the helpless, abandoning unfair fights, and respecting strength even in enemies. Worth is measured in combat, and death is simply the final judgment. Even his identity reflects this duality. Western localization leaned into demonic imagery. His name literally translates to devil, while later interpretations frame Akuma as a title earned by surrendering to the Satsui no Hado. He is both monk and monster, a man who consciously chose damnation in pursuit of absolute mastery. Gotetsu. To understand Akuma's path, you have to look at the men he rejected, starting with his master, Gotetsu. Gotetsu was the architect of the martial art that would fracture his students' lives, a lethal discipline rooted in feudal combat, capable of killing with terrifying efficiency. Yet, unlike Akuma, Gotetsu treated that power with restraint. He understood the Satsui no Hado, but wielded it sparingly, almost philosophically. To him, mastery was not about surrendering to violence, but surviving its temptation. His teachings planted the seed of a question that would define his life. Wanders in search of annihilation, Goken stands as proof that the same art can produce guardians instead of executioners. Together with Gotetsu, they form the moral framework Akuma deliberately shattered. His rebellion is against the idea that power should ever be restrained. The Satsui no Hado. At the heart of Akuma's legend sits the power Satsui no Hado, literally the surge of killing intent. Stripped down to its essence, it is the will to destroy given physical form. Where other fighters cultivate discipline or balance, this energy feeds on violent instinct. It transforms the desire to win into an overwhelming force that rewards aggression and punishes hesitation.
Beep, beep, baby. Soy más lejos, cara. Who's this guy? Shit.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat, the official chocolate bar of Formula One.
Being part of the running community.
Andrei Smaev is somehow getting even bigger, but he might not last that much longer. The Russian giant supposedly eats up to 10,000 calories every single day, does weighted pull-ups with over 100 kilos strapped to his body, despite outweighing prime Ronnie Coleman by over 20 kilos. He's only 27 years old at the time of making this video, but with his current lifestyle, he might not be able to keep it up much longer. In October last year, I made a video about this guy, the Russian strength athlete Andrei Smaev, and called him the newest world strength phenom. Because at only 26 years old, he looked like a sentient fridge with abs. He was benching over 300 kilos, doing sets with over 100 reps per exercise, curling more than the Canadian national team, and I thought that surely this was the peak muscularity a human could possibly ever achieve. Well, lo and behold, just a few months later, Andrei is now pushing his body up in weight to a staggering 352 pounds, which is around 160 kilos. Mind you, the guy is about 6'1" or 6'2", depending on the source you choose to read from, whether it's Reddit or Mike Israetel. Somehow, he is still getting bigger week by week, and has gained a full 15 kilos of weight in just 4 to 5 months. And at this rate, I am genuinely scared of how far he's going to push it. Now, there are quite a few rumors going around as to how Smaev has managed to get this much size. One such rumor was that it took 120 IUs of growth hormone every single day, which for reference is like 10 times more than the biggest bodybuilders on earth. And another thing is that he supposedly took so much gear that his body is just growing out of proportion, and that's why he has those insanely large hands and fingers. I mean, how does this guy even post on social media with fingertips wider than half his phone screen? Though, I think it has more to do with his genetics on top of everything he's taking, and the rumor about the 120 IUs of growth per day was actually another Russian bodybuilder who did that for 2 weeks as an experiment. And ever since he was younger, Andrei Smaev has had pretty massive hands, though they seem to have gotten even bigger in recent times, reminding me more of the Ukrainian arm wrestler Denis Suplenkov. In fact, Smaev was about to start doing arm wrestling, but many of the best guys in the world said that he wouldn't even be a good fit because he was too nice, and he also had a lot of issues with injuries in his wrists.
Не думаю, что он сможет бороться. У него еще есть один проблема, это то, что он слишком добрый. И когда он борется, он в это время тоже очень добрый, так что...
Still, his current training regimen is just so weird. He tends to do 1 or maybe even 2 heavy compounds and just fills up the rest of his workout with random stuff. Like sometimes it's arm wrestling training, sometimes it's just doing 1,000 reps of sissy squats, and sometimes he goes outside and just presses his car. And I'm pretty sure half of his training is just done outside or in some random park. And apparently Smaev doesn't discriminate against weather because he often goes outside when it's in negative 20 degrees just to get a quick
bro, like this guy is like, come on bro, like this is fuck boy.
Pump. Though I doubt this guy could ever possibly get hypothermia because his heart is probably more effective than any electrical heater at this point. Now Smaev has been pretty strong ever since he was very young. Like he benched 200 kilos at age 18, he pressed over 250 kilos at just 20, and while weighing around 120 kilos himself, he was doing pull-ups with over 120 kilos strapped to his body, often using some old kettlebells he got from an old lady. And if that wasn't bad enough, wait until you see some of the insanely massive meals this guy eats. Because it's insanely impressive to me how much food this human being can gobble down in a single sitting. This is supposedly one of his dinners, where he ate a full casserole of chicken soup, which I'm assuming it probably has a whole chicken in it, a full skillet of beef and cooked vegetables, a loaf of bread, another skillet full of pasta and chicken, and then some ketchup. Of course, why wouldn't you consume your 4 full-course family dinners with some ketchup? I guess this is kind of what you have to eat if you want to reach 10,000 calories per day and not have half of it be olive oil or butter. And as a pre-workout snack, he has a large cheese pizza, a regular person's dinner, a bowl of pasta, and what I guess is just some Kool-Aid. I feel incredibly sorry for this man's toilet, though at this point he probably just shits in the bathtub because the toilet is too small. And wouldn't you know it, Andrei Smaev does of course have his own way of winding down after a hard day's work. And I kid you not, this absolute behemoth of a man, who mind you has fingers twice as thick as a regular hot dog, does puzzles to calm down his nerves before going to sleep. Though you would probably expect this to be a grueling activity when you can't pick up any of the pieces, or maybe the puzzle just solves
he's done bench pressing 10,000 kilograms. This guy goes and solves a puzzle, bro.
itself out of fear of being crushed. I feel like he's just become a real-life JoJo character at this point, because how else could you explain that a giant man who looks twice his age, lifting world record numbers in the gym, can do a human flag, eats like a family of 8, and his favorite hobby is petting his undersized dog and doing puzzles. And the worst thing is that he has somehow built a physique so massive that I genuinely think that Andrei Smaev has more muscle than any living person on this planet. And of course he also goes to church, but you'll never see him actually be inside of the church because he's too big to fit through the freaking door. Recently, Smaev also did a collaboration with Larold Williams where he showed off his insane pre-workout stack, which is just the caffeine version of that clip of Ronnie Coleman making his 100-gram protein shake. And his workout was literally just doing push-ups with people on his back. And it's honestly pretty humbling that arguably the most muscly man on the planet right now is just doing push-ups in some random playground. The guy even offered Larry Wheels some of his friends so he could use them to have different weights when training. The guy is just really interesting because Smaev doesn't compete in anything, and as far as I know, he only earns money from working in a factory combined with some of his postings on social media. Like, he doesn't seem to have any specific ambition either, he just trains to be as big as humanly possible, as strong as possible, and he's not even really capitalizing on it, so I guess he's just doing it for the love of the game. But if you guys know anything about cardiovascular health, you'll know that it doesn't really matter if you're 360 pounds of fat or muscle, it still puts a lot of pressure on your heart, lungs, and arguably, if you have more muscle, you'll have even higher demands for oxygen, and your heart will have to pump out even more blood. And because of the insane amount of PEDs this guy takes, Smaev's heart might be heavily enlarged as a byproduct, which does put you at a higher risk of a heart attack, as your heart muscles might even become too thick to properly contract. There is definitely some risk in the game for this guy. Of course, Andrei Smaev is very open about his PED use, but I do wonder how his physical health really is, because at the end of the day, it's hard to not respect this guy's dedication. To eat like this, to train like this, and to live like this for years just to be like the biggest guy in some random Russian park is honestly insane. But it's also a reminder that just because something is possible doesn't mean it's remotely healthy or good for the average gym goer. Though I would argue you can be impressed by the freaks instead of trying to emulate them or become one. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you think,
damn bro, that's some other dedication. You're gonna get yours when I'm going. Tired y'all niggas.
Check out these two natural bodybuilders from Egypt, the land of the pyramids. You see this and ask yourself, what's going on with people? People really out there injecting oil just to look bigger. We only get one body and one life, and instead of building it, they destroy it. But these two men are not here to show off, they are spreading oil awareness. They say they both regret doing that. They trusted a coach who told them that this was oil K, and they blindly believed it and bought into it. This is what happens when you skip brain day and don't think for yourself. It's not looking oil right for them. Look in his eyes. That's the look of regret. He's standing there in silence, but his thoughts are visibly saying he regrets it. It's poison eating them from inside out. All pain, no gain. And then you have this 16-year-old over here who's built like blueberry cheesecake. Times have changed. A few years ago, kids had to explain to their parents that protein powder is not steroids. And today, you got teenagers actually taking real steroids. His body is sending him a message, but he's not listening. And if that's the outside of the body, you don't want to know the inside. Way too many people go to the gym just to train their ego. It's truly a miracle that he is still walking normal, because the real achievement here in his lifts is staying uninjured. And that's impressive. He doesn't get hurt, no matter what nonsense he does. What in the assisted ego lifting is this? What's the point of loading the bar like that, then adding bands and doing half reps? Why not just lift the weight you can actually lift and control it? This is not training to failure, it's training till something fails. At least this guy is keeping his lift honest without any assistance. But with those clamps on the bar, he left zero room for error. Never lift with clamps on if you got no spotter. The leg press machine is the most abused machine in the whole gym, and nowadays even women are ego lifting on it. She must be an athlete practicing for martial arts. Not one rep.
Wait, should I even respond to this shit? Who is this boy?
Camera broke mid-family shoot. Good thing you're naked and can submit claims in minutes on the Naked app. Get naked.
Asking me questions. 4 years ago.
They call him Neckzilla. And that's not just a nickname. It's a warning.
Niggas with no motion always gotta
This
talk.
isn't a bodybuilder. This is bodybuilding's final form. A walking supernova of muscle. A man so wide, so built, so freakish. He didn't just enter the room. He erased your presence from it. The widest neck, the thickest legs, the silhouette of a nightmare. That even his competitors were terrified.
You know what? I'm finna respond. Fuck this nigga.
The kid is a walking mass monster. Definitely a serious threat. And if he nails the condition, if he brings it, I truly believe he can win the Olympia.
What the fuck is we talking about, though? Niggas with no motion always have the loudest opinions, gang. Like no motion ass niggas. People no motion always talk the most. I don't get it, dog. Maybe that's why I ain't got no motion. Cause they're always fucking talking. Niggas wanna tell me shit, dog. Man, shut your bitch ass up. Shut your bitch ass up. Nobody gives a fuck but your opinion, nigga. Niggas with no motion always wanna prat. Always gotta talk about some
Lawsuit not too long ago by an artist that was like hired to your label that was dismissed twice. What did you learn going through that?
Never work with women.
Oh, come on.
There's truth in every joke. But it's a sad truth. Like, I will never be alone in a room with a woman that I work with, like ever again.
Why?
It's too risky. That case was dismissed twice in 2 different states. And there's hardly no mention of it online. When that case was brought up,
it was everywhere.
It was on every single blog, every single front page. And I lost so many brand deals, relationships off of a story that was not even slightly believable. She said I sacrificed a goat in a sexual ritual. All people read was the headline, right?
Wait, what? They said what happened to the goats?
A goat in a sexual ritual. All people read was the headline, right? And that's all it takes to lose everything. That's a crazy concept.
It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. And I'm not really a big fan of Jason Derulo as far as how he goes about doing business as far as the content side. There's been a lot of conversations about him taking people's content and remix. You know, it's a whole thing with that. That's completely separate from his perspective on his experience on working with women. And this is exactly what men talk about as far as their fears. Men are fearful, especially if you have resources, because you then become a target. And nobody is going to post the response or the vindication and give that as much publicity as the accusation, because it's much more popular and it's much more clickbaity for it to go that other way. And he wasn't joking. He was telling the absolute truth, and that he was saying that he will never work with women in a capacity in which he would have to privately interact with them because he does not want to be accused of something that he didn't do. And I don't blame him, not even a little bit, not even an ounce, a teeny, a smidget amount, because there's too many guys that have been accused, even vindicated, and they did not get the same visibility or headlines. And I wasn't even really familiar with this like this until he just brought it up and this question was asked by Graham. But he's right, and I don't blame him at all. I remember when the whole Me Too thing was popping off, right? And basically guys was, and I ain't even just talking about big popular singers and all of that type of stuff, movie stars and actors. There were normal, everyday guys that were losing their jobs based off of an accusation alone.
All right.
Guys were so fearful. Men were so fearful of dealing with women in a personal way or having a conversation or a meeting or a conference where they would actually go and get a female colleague to interact with them or to have a meeting. Couldn't even have a one-on-one. And so I personally know guys that were doing their one-on-one on Zoom calls, and they would let them know beforehand that it was recorded so that they couldn't be accused of something that they didn't do. And there's still a segment of course you're going to have the simps, of course you're going to have a bunch of people say, oh no, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Believe all women. But the minute that whole believe all women narrative started to take off, man, there was a lot of women that leveraged it. And they see you as food. They see you as an opportunity. They see you as a come up. They see you as somebody to push. They see you as somebody, to deep dive into and take advantage of. And if it's a financial opportunity that can come with it and you don't even know them, you just signed them, so you're just working with them and trying to promote them so that y'all can get to the money and get to the business. If that don't take off, or if they see a quicker path to success at your demise, and if they have to destroy your reputation to get there, don't think for 1 second that they wouldn't, because it's happened to plenty of guys beforehand. Now, I seen in the comments where somebody said, oh, this isn't a woman thing, this is a character thing. No, men don't accuse women of false sexual allegations and try to ruin their reputation. That is not a man thing. That is a woman thing, and that is also a woman that is refusing to hold her sisters accountable and take responsibility for the culture that they've created, where men are now operating out of fear because they don't want to interact with women in that capacity. I never thought that I would say this in my entire life, but I'm going to say this right here. The one thing that I agree with Mike Pence on is that Mike Pence would not go in the room with a woman that he did not know without his wife. I think Mike Pence is a snake. I think he is sucker. I think he's going to go down as a turncoat when it came to being loyal to the administration that made him the vice president of the United States of America. But the one thing that Mike Pence said that everybody disagreed with, but I was 100% on board, is that he does not go into a room with a woman unless his wife was with him. You know what Mike Pence ain't never got? A false accusation. At all.
I lost millions of dollars off of an arbitrary story that some woman told. Like a crazy, crazy story that some woman told. So, with that being said, how can I be comfortable being in a room with a woman that I work with?
You can't.
And not feel like she can just say whatever she wants.
Yep.
It's like, it's not worth it to me.
When you're in that and losing millions of dollars in brand deals, how are you figuring out how to navigate that?
Man, it's really less about the money.
No, it's all about. So no. It's always about the money. Let's not get it confused. It is about.
He had to stop like, nah,
about the money.
Money, man. Like, I have one name that I work so hard to stay clean and stay clean cut. And then, like, somebody can just say, like, you can just say anything?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the world we live in. You can just say anything and people take it as gospel. Why was it that those same blogs, those same pages, why didn't they post a dismissal at least?
They don't do that.
Wouldn't that be fair?
Nope.
If you posted
because
the
that's
headline,
not going to get the clicks.
That's so bro. It's so terrible. So like people don't talk about the hardships of men, but it's a really, really tough place to be in, especially like when you have something to lose. Like it's a really, really tough place to be in. We talked about my past relationships and them saying things about me that I haven't responded to. We talked about lawsuits that I haven't really been able to respond to. I really want to respond to the blogs, if you want to be honest. I want to tell them, like, what the is wrong with y'all? Like, after all of these years, like, that I've done, it's been places that I've done interviews with, and, like, I've just been so kind and, like, generous with my time. And then they post that then you don't post the dismissal. It got dismissed twice. You didn't post the second one, you didn't post the first one. Damn. Like, none of that?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Gotta stay away from all these different kinds of hands, boy. Cause you never know. Cause you never know what's happening, bro. Nah, man, let's close off the stream, gang. Dun, 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 dun.
One has been chasing the same game because of how much money it made. Fortnite, right? Everybody wanted their own Fortnite. Companies would bet the entire future of their studios if they could just make one game as successful as Fortnite is. It became so dominant that the idea of making your own Fortnite reshaped the entire landscape of video games. Because when I think of the few games that are truly the most influential, I think Grand Theft Auto 5, Dark Souls, Pokemon, Zelda, probably Fortnite. Sure, I know there's others too. to, but you get the idea. Either way, Fortnite is, whether you want to admit it or not, a cultural phenomenon. And it's also kind of the blueprint that everybody has tried to replicate. But the thing is that now that blueprint is kind of no longer working. And it didn't lead to a sudden collapse or some dramatic shutdown either. Instead, the downfall of Fortnite was something actually a lot quieter and far more dangerous, if you ask me. Like, the thing that killed Fortnite, it was fatigue. Because for years, Fortnite thrived on giving you basically everything through constant live updates, like new seasons, collabs, just endless amounts of content, dude, just aimed to keep you coming back. And yeah, I mean, it worked for a long time, but the problem was that when a game never ends because of how it's built, it's also not really capable of ever satisfying anyone either due to how it's also built. Usually, when you play a game that isn't always online, you play it, you beat it, and then you move on. That's how it used to be. But with something like a Fortnite, it's not something you can beat, really. All you can do with Fortnite is maintain what you have already by adding more to it, which meant that everyone who played Fortnite wasn't really ever going to complete the experience because that is technically impossible to do. I mean, we've all had that, haven't we? Where you play some game with the daily quests and such and you almost feel obligated, like, oh man, I gotta log on again today. Not because I really want to play, but because I feel like I have to or I'm gonna be left behind. And eventually that feeling of I gotta log in to do my dailies or whichever thing
I didn't even know this is how people play Fortnite actually.
Let Amplify take you where ordinary doesn't dare go.
Bro, I try to play games as much as I want, but I'm just not...
Being named the world's #1 cider. Again.
I want to do so much. And I enjoy playing games.
Whichever thing gets added leads to something the industry probably never thought would happen with Fortnite, which is just burnout, man. Complete and utter burnout. And look, Fortnite isn't alone either. Across all those live service games, they all are all to like some degree showing the same symptoms no matter what they do. We got declining engagement, communities that are shrinking, and these content pipelines that are just struggling to keep up with the expectations. But that's kind of the problem, isn't it? It's that the live service model, your Fortnites, your Marvel rivals, they don't just demand your attention if you play them. Instead, they want to consume it. It requires you to commit long term, right? You got to invest the time and the energy and a lot of money usually too if you want those shiny new skins. And the systems are constantly changing. Sure, people will accept it at first, but what we're seeing now is that players are definitely pushing back. I feel it even when I play Marvel Rivals. Like, really? Even more new skins? How are these skins even considered content even? They really aren't, are they? Like, objectively, actual content that matters would be like a new map, new game modes, new abilities or team-ups at things that you can do in that game, for example. But if you ask me, stuff like skins, and this applies to Fortnite too, are often just seen as content, but it's content you need to pay an arm and a leg for usually. Because why does a Batman outfit in Fortnite costs close to $20 when it releases, and even more that if you want the stupid pickaxe and whatever else is like, it's just ridiculous, dude. No matter how many skins you add to a game or how many crossovers you might have, even no matter how much content you release, really, you can't hide the fundamental problem at the heart of this. Because a system designed to last forever, it's going to struggle always to feel meaningful at any given moment. And that's the reality that everybody in games is being forced to confront. But this golden goose, right? This Fortnite that everybody wants, it's starting to choke on its own slop, as GameIndustry.biz said here.
I've been hearing a lot about like live service gaming just dying off completely, so I guess I understand what they're talking about. If it's cold as
it turns out Fortnite isn't the forever game after all, which is becoming more and more clear as time passes on, that's for sure. Wilder still is, as seen here, they confirmed that about 20% of Fortnite's overall staff that worked on the game are gone now officially. So we're talking hundreds of developers vanishing from Epic Games salaries like in an instant. That's crazy. They also confirm, as seen here, that Fortnite's player engagement went down a staggering 30% in 2024, and then it dipped further in 2025, which led to what we know now. Now, that foreboding mention of how the whole V-Bucks would get more expensive, as you can see here, for example, kind of made more sense now in retrospect. Because the players were already leaving, so instead of making things more enticing to keep them, they, as in Epic Games, decided, you know what, let's just bleed the players we still have for even more money. And then a mere week or so after the change went live, boom, everybody still got laid off anyways. It's kind of ridiculous, dude. It's actually insane. As GameIndustry.biz said it here. The impact of Fortnite's success on the industry as a whole in the past decade cannot be overstated. It's not the only successful live service game, but make no mistake, it is the live service game. Its success birthed countless cartoon dollar signs in the eyes of countless industry executives. It was a justification for endless pitch decks, green lights, cancellations, and strategic pivots across the industry. Hundreds of millions of dollars spent on trying to snatch away even the smallest slice of its pie. I honestly blame this stupidity on why places like PlayStation have also gone down the slop route of replacing all of their single-player games with this nonsense instead. It just doesn't work. If it did, we would have seen way more success stories, but we haven't. But look, I get it, right? Fortnite was, or I guess is, a platform. You have all these different games experiences and whatever built into the core game that you can play at any given time. Meaning that Fortnite was positioned uniquely to be that forever game that steals the attention from any other game around it for years. So I get why companies want to make games like it, but the reality is there is only a finite number of people on this planet.
Yeah, bro, and even with that, like, I prefer like campaign games over like these multiplayer games. I don't like multiplayer games. I don't like playing with all y'all niggas. I don't. I can play with y'all from time to time because it's entertaining to play with people from time to time. But when I'm alone, bro, like, I prefer not to get multiplayer games, because what's gonna happen now? I have to wait there in the fucking waiting room for y'all niggas to pull up and all that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro. Like, I prefer like games that are more storyline driven than these multiplayer nonsense.
And that play video games. And the reality is that most people will latch onto maybe one game at best that they like, and once they invest heavily into it by buying the skins or whatever, they don't really pivot because, again, they invested already. So why would they leave? I know for a fact there's somebody watching this right now that still plays World of Warcraft. They probably invested a ton of money into their account. So they're never going to abandon it, because to do so would make everything they've done meaningless with that game, right? Same goes for anyone watching that plays like Warframe, Marvel Rivals, God knows what else, Destiny 2 even. And to prove my point that it's basically borderline impossible now to make people invest into anything new, I mean, go look at PUBG Blindspot. It's a top-down shooter live service spin-off of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It launched in early access in February 2026. And as this article states from PC Gamer, Blindspot is already dead and being taken offline not even 2 months into its own release. It's another Highguard again, another game that likely took years to be made and was promised to be this forever game that you won't be able to play soon anyways, ironically. And that's the crazy part, right? Like, there's no genre like a live service game where it has more games that got erased from existence than actual games you can still play in that genre. Imagine if every niche RPG that didn't sell millions just got erased suddenly, or that weird horror game you like just got delisted because 10 million people didn't show up in like a week to play when it first came out. That's what these sorts of games go through, right? And why I keep banging that drum of stop making these sorts of games. You're kind of just wasting your time and your resources chasing something that just won't work for you. I'm sure Epic Games wants to double down further on Fortnite because it's all they really have as a moneymaker game, but like, is that even wise to do? Look, I would love a single player open world game that would use Fortnite's graphics and systems. Like, imagine a Skyrim or a Crimson Desert, but its world is like Fortnite's. You get to explore at your own leisure, you shoot the monsters, you do the quests, and you can play with your friends even, but it's not a live service game. Instead, it's a premium AAA product that has a beginning, middle, and end. I would love that, but Epic would never do it. Why make a cool Fortnite spin-off single-player game when they could just charge you 3 skin bundles? That's going to cost like the same as a full game, right? Like, that's easier to make for them, but that's how they're going to think. Some ex-Epic devs have spoken out against Epic and Fortnite. Here's one of them, as you can see on screen. It's a lot to read, so I'm going to paraphrase it for you, but pretty much the legal battle between Apple and Epic, which removed Fortnite from mobile devices available there, was also a big blow to Epic's bottom line. Besides that, Epic is making stuff that are being entirely funded by the revenue that is made via Fortnite, and these are long-term bets, so no info was given as to what they are currently. Besides that, apparently the guest artists they hire to drum up hype are a drop in the ocean to the cost the game needs to keep itself up and running every single month. And another big issue is the Epic Game Store, which many staff, according to this person at least, is being underutilized and sabotage, which is not bringing in the revenue needed for Epic as a whole either. And ultimately, Epic has focused so heavily on Fortnite, they have pretty much made everything else terrible to focus more resources on it. There was also another employee who chimed in, as you can also see here. This is what they said. Former employee here too, choosing to remain anonymous because of my proximity to this mess, but I hope you will all let me weigh in. I've rarely met so many talented individual contributors in my career. At the same time, a cancer, a parasitic, toxic middle managers is consuming the company with ruthless efficiency. They have zero customer focus. None. Their goal is to engage in political maneuvering to establish fiefdoms for themselves, and their negative negative value forced referral hires. They cover for each other and make sure they get promotions and top tier bonus multipliers. Every one of them I've met has survived these firings. Meanwhile, I've watched Epic's best and brightest get fired despite their outstanding performance. If you're one of these managers reading this, I don't know how you live with yourself and sleep at night. You are the problem. Remember that once you've sucked Epic Games dry, you won't have a company to fleece. On behalf of everyone you screwed in your petty career pursuits, and then they flip off the manager. So this is the common problem in a lot of big publishers, by the way. And again, why they always survive the layoffs too. It's completely pointless, but they do this to, keep their bonuses and their wallets really fat at the expense of the real people.
Nah, let's close off this fucking stream. You're gonna drop a deluxe version for a Project 27 songs. How many songs only the deluxe game? Bro, like you already have 27 songs out, dog. What deluxe is there? Casper dropped a song. Punyo Gaban Pets. Since game. I'm a copyright as one shot.